I had like 2 seconds. No. We gotta wait. I gotta tweet this thing out. I have no time. They give me no time to tweet. So we gotta wait a second. And I'm gonna tag Catch in this tweet. So he actually knows to join me. All right, boom. All right. Well, that was bad. That was bad. That was bad, YouTube, right? That was bad live programming. But you got to understand the issue is, so when he hits start, the problem that comes is like he hits start, and then the next thing you know, I get like 30 seconds. Instead from our app to Twitter, I wait for it to retweet, but sometimes it takes like 20 or 30 seconds or so before it shows up on Twitter, and then I don't have a chance to retweet it. So there's just all kinds of problems. First world problems. But good morning. Good morning to everybody. How's everyone doing? Happy Friday to ya. December the 8th, baby. Boy, we are barreling down to Christmas. Christmas movies are out there. I was watching this Christmas last night for like the umpteenth time. Young Chris Brown in that. It's so funny because I bring my friends over and I show them so many movies that they've never seen before. They've seen like This Christmas or Perfect Holiday. They're like, what is this? I'm like, yeah, we got our own stuff too. Got our own Christmas movies. And so it's really fun to go down that rabbit hole. I was doing a little bit of that last night, getting ready for the show today and enjoying myself. And I hope you guys are enjoying yourself, man. I hope you guys have had a fantastic week. I hope you guys are doing well. It sucks because there hasn't been a ton of football to talk about, but we got Army Navy this weekend. Who the hell is supposed to win that one, Aaron? Do we got a spread on that? Does anyone know? This is Army Navy, Army of -3. Wow. Now you've got to. This is where you're the football junkie, right? Because look, we all respect everybody who's in the military. Shout out to anyone who has ever served in our military. We got to always respect those who are currently serving, those who are veterans, and those who lost their lives for, fighting for our freedoms, right? So, you got to give props to that. But I'm telling you, for the Army Navy game, though, you got to be a football junkie degenerate to sit there and to watch that thing for four quarters. And it's good football, but you don't know anybody on this damn team. You don't know a single player on any of these teams. And if you do, you probably have a gambling problem. I'm just going out. Unless you got family, unless you were in there and you served and you went to the school. Outside of any of that, if you know any of those players, you're truly a degenerate. That being said, I'll probably watch the games anyway. Wow, Aaron says the over-under is 27.5. Oh my gosh. What does that equate to? Like, that's like a 14-13 kind of game, Aaron? Like something to that effect? Like, or 16 the 12, like that's kind of, because you get kind of divided up a little bit. So that's an ugly game. Yeah, 15-12. Oh boy, yeah. Who's watching Army Navy this weekend? No, we're not. I'm not watching that thing, man. That's gonna be absolutely. But nonetheless, we got some football this weekend for those out there who are looking for it. So anyway, what else is going on before we kind of get into it. By the way, welcome back to the Old Fashioned Show. My name is Anwar Richardson. I'm the host of this show. Today's a Friday. It's a football Friday, a fun Friday, a really loose Friday, kind of a relaxed kind of thing where I want to make sure, we give a lot of football stuff, but also want to make sure you have a little fun. So we'll be on topic, off topic. We'll be everywhere as possible. So don't worry about it. Sit back, relax, enjoy the ride. Hit like to the channel, the video rather. Subscribe to the channel if you have not done so. Let me go through go through these chats and say good morning to those who've gotten here early. Always like to do that. Zio _ back in the #1 spot again. Impressive. Zio _ my favorite Hennessy bottle, claims the #1 spot. First person in the chat. Dale Coleman. Good morning. Just got paid. Oh yeah, it's Friday night. Party hunting. Feeling right. Oh yeah, you got me going. I know exactly what exactly I will be playing as soon as I get off air. Oh yeah, that's feeling in my groove. Yeah, Mr. Hookem. Thank you, Dale. You got me going now. You got me going. You got me in a good mood. Mr. Hookem in here. TGIF. Just a dude. Good morning to you. Morning to everyone. Gringo Horn, TGIF. Anthony's in the house. Miguel Angel Diaz. What's going on, nephew? Theo Baricio. I love tequila and tequila loves me. Man, let me tell you. Listen, people who are raised on, okay. So, the person I'm dating, she's Mexican, she's Latin, right? That woman can drink tequila like it's water. And it's crazy. We do a shot, it's like it did nothing. Like nothing happened. I was like, wow, how do you do that? It's scary. It's scary. So people really who raised on tequila drink that thing around her family. They just do it like it's just nothing. They don't need like salt and limes and all that kind of stuff that like what we have to do to it's crazy. But look, good props to you and your tequila, right? Gringo Horns in the house. RMC McDonald. I wanted to say McDonald, but Donald's in the house. Longest Horn. Texas Mama is in the house. Good morning to you. Barb's 10. Ian's in here. Big Jake was up here. Chris Bennett, the original OG of Superfans, is in here. Gabe Locke is in here. Deborah, good morning to you. Super. Hold on. What is that? Super T72. My gosh, that's so old. I had to put in my readers. Doug is in here. Mike Torres is in here. Guillermo is in here. BK817, relocated from the ATL, is now over here in Texas. So good to see him. Darian is in here. Where's Robert? Where's Robert? Part of Bobby and Whitney. Calvin's in here. Ben G's in here. Kevin's in here. Dill Pickles. Good morning to you. That's a kind of funny name. I ain't gonna lie. Let's see. Trip Fusqua. Did I say it right, Aaron? Fusqua? No. How do I say it again? Wait. What? How does that?
Fosque.
All right, my bad. I tried to. My bad. Fosque. I did it right the last time. But anyway, good morning to you, Fosque. Trip. Good to see you. Sark After Dark. John's in here. Big Tex is in here. Paul is in here. Kevin. SEC Hookem is in here as well. Agent Z is in here. The Sandman is in here. Who else we got in here? Money B is in the building as well. Kiki is in there as well. Kiki, y'all hooping during the holidays or nothing? You slow motion, like what you got going on? Lewis Gaines is in the house as well. Jared is in here. Hammer is in here. Hammer and where is that? Javelina? What is that? What is that? What am I missing? Is that a state? Is that a city in Texas I don't know about? Probably. I miss everything. He got to tell me, Hammerin, where are you from? That's what I want to know. Jess is in here. I'm gonna make sure I get everybody the Cole Q, and that's what I'm gonna call you because I don't know what that acronym really stands for. Blake is in here. Justin's in here. Jonathan is in here. Good morning to you, Kathy. Good morning to you, Corleone. Sorry. Good morning, South Enzo Queen. Oh, I got something fun for you coming up soon. Jay Vela, good for you. UT Parking, ugh. Get a new screen name. Get a new screen name other than UT Parking, because there's not a single person in the chat who has not received a ticket from UT Parking at some point. Like it's just impossible to go without getting a ticket from UT Parking. Why you at UT Parking? Ugh. But Walter Nolan is visit Oregon this weekend. I wonder if Phil Knight's going to pick him up at the airport. A Texas Yankee. What's up, old man, with the stash you got going on? And then, oh man, you missed it. How you not? Oh my gosh, how do you not know about the stash? So, dude, where were you the entire month of November? I talked about it every day. Oh my God, man, now you just exposed yourself. Now, I'm glad you're watching the show right now. I appreciate you watching the show right now. But if you don't know the origins of the stash, I'm going to have to call you out. Okay, so in the month of November was Movember, okay? Movember was a men's health awareness month where we encourage men to go to the doctors, get checked, colonoscopies, all kinds of things, that we want to make sure men get checked on. Also mental health awareness and suicide prevention. And so we focused in on suicide prevention. So I grew out the mustache in support of Movember, because that's what you're supposed to do in Movember. You're supposed to grow out a mustache. To bring out heightened awareness. We raised about $5,000 for suicide prevention. So shout out to everybody who donated. Obviously, we appreciate you. And then what happened after that, it was doing the show, and we were towards the end, and Ketch wanted to throw out at the very last minute, hey, you know what? You can't shave that mustache because it's the lucky stash. Everybody jumped on board. And so because of that, if I shave it off and Texas somehow loses, all I'm going to deal with that is the rest of my life. So I'm like, I'm keeping it till Texas wins the national title. Then it comes off. Okay, so all bets are off at that point. The mustache is done what it needed to do. But that's why I have the stash. That's exactly. It's literally was one for suicide prevention, and now it's for Texas having the fortune of getting into the CFP. That's the stash. That's the stash story. And I talked about it every day in November. So where you been? Where you been? Well, I'm glad you're here regardless of it. Regardless. It don't matter. It don't matter how long you've been away. You can always come home, baby. You can always come home to the old-fashioned show. So I'm glad you are absolutely back. Speaking of back, which, by the way, this is no transition. So let me just talk about El Presidente. There's really no transition, right? If you're looking for a home in the DFW area, you have to look no further than El Presidente, our dude, our family member, resident 12-0 pick. You know what, Aaron? In a weird way, he did get the 12 right. Like in a weird way, he predicted 12-0. Texas is actually at 12-1. So now, granted, he said regular season, but nonetheless, very bullish on Texas making it to the playoffs before the season. It ends up happening after the season. So regardless, if you're looking for a home in the DFW area, look no further than Eric Sills homes DFW. I saw what Zio_V said. That's what's making me laugh. I'm not laughing at Eric. I'm not like, buy a house from him, sucker. I'm laughing at that comment. And so, so now I'm known as Snitch Richardson because I look like every black cop who's ever played in a Hollywood movie. That's what I look like. Wait till I go to break. I'm going to get my sunglasses and I'm going to get on a hat. And you guys will swear that I look like a cop. Like, I promise you that's going to happen. So, yes, I'm now Snitch Richardson. I cannot be trusted. And I think I'm trying to pull him over. And I drive a Ford Taurus, which makes it even better. Because now everybody's like, oh, snap. I'll tell you, I'm serious. I was rolling, I told him it was like about a week or so ago. And I saw these people, they were like, and it's a black Taurus, by the way. It's a black Ford Taurus, just to add to it. Just to add to the whole, like, he looks like a cop thing. I literally drive a black Ford Taurus with dark tinted windows. And so, like, people will be driving fast, and then they'll, like, come alongside me, and they'll just slow down. And just kind of, I can see them looking, and I'm just laughing, and I'm like, man, No, so anyway, yeah, I'm Snitch Richardson. Buy a house from Eric Sells Homes DFW, or I will arrest you. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go in the break. I'm gonna go give. I do have some aviators on, and I obviously we'll do that for a portion of the show. What's funny is when I put the hat on Monday, and I don't. So many people saw that, and I got so many people like commenting on that thing, and I had my boys from Florida when they saw that, and they're like, yeah, man, what happened to you? What are they doing to you in Texas, man? Like, what happened? And I was like, man, I was just trying to have some fun. And like, you got a mustache, you got the hat on, like, bro, you all right? Like, blink twice if you need us. They think it was an episode of, they think it was like Get Out, like the movie. I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm good. I'm just having fun with my fam. That is it. Man, speaking of fun, I'll tell you two things I was going to tell you. Two things that are fun, one thing that's not fun. So two things that are fun. So this weekend, I'm going to San Antonio. My son's going to be in this thing called Keeper Wars. You guys ever seen this thing? Mike, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about, Torres. But we'll be competing in a Keeper Wars competition there on Saturday and Sunday. So that should be fun. It's one goalkeeper versus another. So I'm looking forward to going down there and supporting him, seeing what happens, in that kind of environment. And then I was on the that SEC podcast. I had Mike Branton on my show. So what happens is like nowadays when people ask me to be on their show, because what happened before I had my show, people always ask me to be on their show, right? And so now I barter. When people contact me, they're like, hey man, can you be on my show? I'm like, can you be on my show? This is how this thing work now. This is how this thing work. You one hand wash the other. I'm not. Dude, can you be on my show? One person told me it was like a couple of months ago. I asked somebody to be on my show. He asked me to be on his show, and then he asked, "Could I be?" I said, "Can you be on mine?" And he's like, "Oh, well, I have to let you know about my schedule. I have to get back to you on that because I'm not sure." And I said, well, when you find out your schedule, let me know, and I'll tell you what my schedule is to be on your show. 5 minutes later, he was like, I'll be on your show. I'm like, cool, I can be on your show. That's how it is now. That's how it is now. So anyway, but SEC Mike's never been like that. He's always been cool people with me. And he's had me on his show for a while. So I went on there this week because he was on my show. What was he on Wednesday, Aaron? I think he was on Wednesday because that's the day Jason comes on, right? Or is it Tuesday? No, yeah, it was after Alex. It was back to back. It was right after Alex. And I'm like spitting straight fire, man. Like I'm on it. Like I'm on one of these interviews when I'm on it. I got my metaphors down. I got my analogies down. Like I'm killing this thing, right? Like I'm feeling myself. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm feeling myself, right? And then I said something, and I started talking about, the reasons why Texas should be confident. And I was like, yeah, man, Texas played Washington last year. They beat them in the Alamo Bowl. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, fail. And you know what? Of course, what would happen? What would happen? Of course, that's the damn segment that he tweets out to everybody. Like, why you tweet that out to everybody, man? Like, you could be like, hey, man, damn, he kind of messed up. You can either edit it out, help a brother out, or don't let that be the segment that you tweet out to like 100,000 people. Like 100,000. Like, you couldn't just be like, hey, man, my boy messed up. It's okay. Like, things happen. I'm like, but you put that out, and now ain't nobody listening to what I said. Everybody's like, oh man, he done messed up. He don't know what the hell he's talking about. I was like, I had a brain fart. I said the wrong thing. It happens. When you do hours and hours of programming with every day, you're on different shows. Like eventually it's just gonna happen, right? And I own it. I messed up. But man, you didn't have to highlight it. Golly, just killing a brother. It was ridiculous. But yeah, I totally dropped the ball. I totally failed on that one. It was a total, and it sucks. You know what sucks about it though? It was a really good interview. That's what sucks about it. It was a really good interview, and I was so bullish on Texas because I was like, man, you guys are talking about Bama, this and that. They went down there, destroyed them boys. I'm like, I'm just killing. I'm like, man, I don't see anybody who can touch Texas. Like I'm on it, and I say some dumb thing like that, and nobody listens. Nobody listens. Everybody just to me. I'm getting text messages. Hey, man, Washington beat Texas. And I'm like, yeah, I know. They got no love. So mad at Mike, but mad at myself. But he didn't have to tweet that thing out, but it's okay. Overall, it's a good interview. So if you want to check me out on that one, outside of that, if you could just ignore that part and focus in on the other freaking 25 minutes of good conversation outside of that 15-second blurb, it's just like that's just life, right? It's like you get messed up one time. I showed you there was probably some my luck, right? There's probably some dude from like ESPN who was watching it, and he was like, man, look at this Anwar guy. I think we should hire him. You know what? Let's give him about like a good $1.5 million to talk about college football. That'll be great. I like the mustache. And they were like, oh, this guy's an idiot. He's an idiot. Can't have this guy on there. This guy sucks. I'll whip you. I'll whip you guys. I'm stuck with you for the rest of my life. All right, let's do this. And I love you guys, by the way. And yeah. Last thing I'm going to say, I'm going to go to break. It's funny. People have always asked me about like the ESPN thing. And they've asked me about wanting to work there and stuff. And I've had some opportunities in the past, but it's been iffy on that. They have too many layoffs. But like that Disney company and stuff like that, they just lay off people too often. And I knew people who worked there, and they had different experiences and stuff. So I've always been kind of like, I don't know. Now, when I know people going there, like when they get fired, like they don't even work in the industry anymore. Like they're just done. So I've always been like, man, I don't know. I feel like once I go there, I got like a good couple of year run, and then I'm just done there. So the times that they've contacted me, I've been like, nah, I'm kind of good on that. I feel like so far so good. I made some good decisions now. Now I gotta get to the finish line here at Orange Bloods now. Y'all gotta help me. I gotta figure out a way to save up enough money so I could go retire in Mexico. I think that's the only place I can afford to live. Not because of anything else. Aaron, I think it's the only place I can afford to live when I retire. What the hell am I gonna do with this Social Security check? Not a damn thing. What am I gonna do with that damn thing? Nothing. Can't afford nothing. I would have to, you're supposed to have like a couple of $1 million to retire. I ain't having it. I got let me look. Let me see. I'm gonna show you how much money I got towards retirement. Aaron. And then we're gonna go break. I'm gonna show you right here. Let's see. Got 100 pesos here. That should get me far. I got 50s. I got some 50s, some pesos here too. I got it. I'm good, right? Someone's like, why does he have pesos in his wallet? Because my kid lives there. So because my kid is there, I'm going to get him in January and bring him back and finish out the school year. But my kid lives there, so I just keep the money in my wallet because, anyway. Yes, I'm in one. I'm on one today. All right, let's do the break. We will come back. This one will be interesting to South End Zone Queen and a lot of other folks. That's like $2. Yeah, it's really not a lot of money. Let's go to break, A-Rod. We'll be right back.
I'll find the guy who sent it. Here it is, right here. Angry Hammer Jason wanted to know any recruiting impact to this class. What about the next class?
Well, that's on my agenda. As soon as we're done with this video, I'll be working the phones today, Angry. But, I don't know that it'll have a huge impact on this class. I mean, obviously the committed guys are going to be excited, and, maybe it helps secure a guy like Jarrett Gibson and get him, kind of lock him back in. There really aren't a lot of remaining targets in this class. So I think if it's going to have an impact, I think it probably spills over more into that 2025 group than it does 2024. Does it help them maybe flip Xavier Filsaime, someone like that? I mean, listen, it can't hurt, obviously, but it's not like Texas has the room right now for some influx or a wave of recruits to start just jumping on board. But for 2025, yeah, listen, man, we've said it for years. If Texas is kind of a sleeping giant, once they start winning, this recruiting will take off like a rocket ship. I mean, they recruit well anyways, but when you got a college football playoff to sell, absolutely, it should impact. I'd say a little bit of impact, over the next couple of weeks, but moving forward for that 2025 class, I think it has a big impact.
Keep an eye on the portal. That may be maybe even more so than for 2024 anyway. It may impact. I get the sense that there's a lot of people that are calling Texas that aren't even in the portal yet. This could help them really get a bang-up class, knowing that Texas will be poised, even though they'll be rebuilding and they lose a lot from this team. If they bring Ewers back, I mean, they'll be a top 10 team going into the country next year, I think, with the presence of that alone. And Texas will have a loaded young roster. It may be unproven in some areas, but I think they'll get the benefit of the doubt, especially if they perform well coming into the playoff against Washington. I think things look good right now.
By the way, I got something fun coming for you. But don't forget, it's Friday. You guys have got Army Navy this weekend. Everyone's gonna be watching the Army Navy game, right? And if you got to go out to Specs, because I'm assuming you're probably not gonna have a party, but we got Christmas parties that are coming up soon. It's just a good weekend to go out to Specs. Go out and get the best beer, the wines, the spirits. Bought myself a bottle of tequila earlier this week. So yes, Specs has got everything. They've got you covered. DJ Aaron, let them know what Specs has in store.
No matter what you're needing, Specs same-day delivery can save the day with our Specs app or online shopping. From world-class wines to hard-to-find spirits and craft beers to gourmet foods, delicious snacks, and spectacular sweets. It's Specs. Cheers to savings.
All right, cheers to you. All right, so I said to you that with this mustache, I look like every black cop you've ever seen in a movie, right? I'm going to prove it to you, okay? Are you ready? Ready? Okay, right? Now, you know how fast you've been going? You know how fast you do? I clocked you. I clocked you doing 84 in the 65 mile per hour zone. You know how fast you've been going? License and registration, please. License and registration. Who's that in the vehicle with you? Huh? Yeah. I need a license and registration for you two as well. License and registration for you two as well. Where you guys going to, huh? Where are you guys going to? Where you been coming from? You guys been drinking tonight? Huh? Look like, smell a little bit of alcohol in there. Mind stepping out the vehicle, sir? Ma'am, you stay right there. Come step outside the vehicle, please. Yeah, hands on side of the vehicle. Hands on the vehicle. Don't nobody go nowhere till we get this whole situation sorted out. That's right. Tell me, now that you see it, can you unsee it? Now that you see it, can you see me as anything other than a cop? Right? This is you. If I told you, if I showed up at career day today, right, at someone's school, you think anyone? And I was like, yes, I'm a police officer. You think anybody is going to be like, nah, he's lying? Everybody's going to be like, no. Oh yeah. All right. This is how I feel. You look like I own a ranch. Oh wow. Ranchero. That's why I am, right? All right. This is where I'm at, right? I'm gonna do this segment He goes, with that chain, you need, what do you say, black sunglasses? Bro, I can't even read this. I'm not gonna be lying with you. I could barely see it. But yes, here I am. All right, there you go. All right, I just want to make sure. I want to make sure we had the visual that's out there. Aaron, should I take the hat off? Should I take the good? Aaron says keep it on. Do I need to be bringing any more attention to myself? I don't feel like I should. I don't feel like I should. I can't. I'll be honest with you, Aaron. I can't. I can barely see the screen with it. And so if there's a demand, I'll put it back on. But I can't read. I need, first of all, I need my readers just to see the comments, some of them. But then if I keep the sunglasses on, I can't see a damn thing. I'm just being honest with you. I don't know. I don't know what the hell y'all are saying. So all right. This one's near and dear to South End Zone Queen's heart, and as well to everybody. This kind of sucks, and this has been a lot of people who have been dealing with this. Is that a lot of people, and a lot of Texas fans, when I say, Big Texas put it back on and sing a song in Spanish. I mean, for that's not, but yeah, that's not like, I might could do like an Elvis Crespo Suavemente, but I don't necessarily think that's goes with that look. Like that's a little bit more for that. Someone said, Aaron's like, yeah, for me to put that back on, we definitely need to do some super chats for that one. That's for sure. Now that's for sure. But yeah, unfortunately, people got rejection letters yesterday for the Sugar Bowl, for the Sugar Bowl tickets. And I saw Twitter was lighting up like a Christmas tree. Here's what they were told. And everyone was told this. And I don't know how many of you are in this situation at this moment, but for those of you who were thinking to yourselves, you know what? I'm gonna just kind of wait another week or two and buy my tickets and get it on the low. I don't know if that's gonna happen. Look, it said this is what was sent out to UT season ticket holders. It says our allotment of the All-State Sugar Bowl is only 13,000 tickets out of the 68,400 seats in the Superdome. This allotment has to cover tickets to our students, our outstanding Longhorn band, and our football student athletes and staff families. We received 31,694 ticket requests from our season ticket holders and donors. And that doesn't even include the demand from our nearly 20,000 students with the big ticket. Well, big bank take little bank in that situation, Aaron, to me. I mean, like, the students got to it is what it is. We understand the news is frustrating, and we wish we were given more seats to allocate to our loyal supporters like yourself. And then continues to go down the list. By comparison, Texas received 21,487 tickets for the Rose Bowl, 17,000. I mean, this is crazy. 20,000 and then 50,000 for the tickets in the Sugar Bowl. They only got 13,000 this year, Aaron. That's crazy. That is crazy. Look at it. There's a lot of people who are going along with this. Though we were unable to fulfill your ticket request through the ticket allotment, tickets still may be available for purchase. I mean, yeah, of course, we know that. We know that. But yeah, but that's the thing. And if we are fortunate to advance to the college football national playoff game, we're excited that we will be able to fulfill even more Longhorn Foundation members' requests, as we will receive approximately 20,000 tickets for that game. Well, I mean, that's only 7,000 more, right? So you got to hope for that. If you requested tickets through the Texas Athletics, we still have it on file and will notify you by December the 22nd whether we are able to fulfill your request should the Longhorns advance to that game. And we greatly appreciate you for using your discretionary income to support Texas athletics, and hope you still will be able to join us in New Orleans. That's rough. That's rough, Aaron, because now essentially everyone's got to go on the market. And again, in a situation where I think a lot of us anticipated that the ticket prices would actually go down as we got closer to the game, now I feel like the market is hotter. Now I feel like the secondary market, in order to take advantage of folks, is going to be even a little bit higher than it was previously. I don't know. Now, for those of you who have been pricing tickets, I'm kind of curious from your perspective. When you got on there yesterday, did you notice that tickets prices have gone up? Or has there been an increase in that? Because I feel like now the best thing to do is just buy what you can get at this moment. Salmon says, I went on Ticketmaster and purchased one ticket, section 107 for $809. By far the cheapest ticket I have seen on the first deck of the Superdome. Let's do some more that are out here, Aaron. There was also a $300 ticket fee. Are you serious? What? Wait. Sandman, on what website, what app are we saying there was a $300 ticket fee? You got to be kidding me. What app is this so we know which ones to avoid? What is, oh my gosh, that is insane. Catherine said something as well. No, she was in here. Catherine said tickets. Tickets to NRG. The national championship game is off the chain as far as those tickets are concerned. NRG is started at $2,400 with taxes, and that's for the nosebleeds. 100%, 100%. The tickets for I've looked at that because I got friends who are thinking about going, and that is absolutely ridiculous as far as those ticket prices are concerned. Sandman 23, damn near every ticket I have seen on the first and second deck of the Superdome, $1,200 to $2,500. You know, it's crazy. I mean, yeah, we gotta. Aaron, all right, let's do this. Aaron, do me a favor. I'm curious. Pull up on one of your screens. Pull up Ticketmaster, and let's look at what the tickets are right now. And I want you to be able to put this on the screen because I want to get an idea right now. Big Tex, you said $423 on Vivid Seats. Big Tex says he's seeing $423 on Vivid Seats, Big Tex. I want to see what you are seeing at this moment. Brent Barry says nosebleed seats works are now $440 in the Superdome. So basically, to go to the Sugar Bowl, we're probably talking about 1,000. Aaron's going to pull this up. We're going to do this exercise right here because now I'm beyond curious as to what we're going to. I want to pull it up. Let's just look at it together because now Aaron's just about got it. Aaron, love this guy. All right, hold on 1 second, guys. Right, Aaron's got it. He's about to come on the screen right now. You can take me off the screen, Aaron. Yeah, take me off. Do I need to take myself off? Yeah. Okay. Hold on. I forget how to do this. Okay. All right, Aaron. All right. So show us of what's available, Aaron. So yeah, you can make that a little bit bigger, can you? All right. It's a little tiny, but that's okay. So this here, this is a section. This is the nosebleed sections. And by the way, if you ever been to the Sugar Bowl, that is absolutely nosebleeds. Like those tickets are super, those seats are super high. What are we looking at, Aaron, here? It's not showing us on this one. Zoom out. Okay, so in that section, nosebleeds, 600 level, we're starting at $449, so about $500 just to be up in the nosebleeds is what we're talking about. $500. Scroll it. Can you get a little bit in? Okay. Why is it so small? That's all right. Yeah, we'll work through it. I'm patient. Why is it when you hover over? Okay, yeah. Go back to that, Aaron. Go back to that. So right there, lower level, section 156. If you want to be down at 156, row 24, that one is at 920. 920 right down. If you want to get lower, just a tad bit lower. Aaron, let's do this. So let's look at the Washington side. Is the Washington side cheaper? Because someone told me that in text message. Woo! No, it's not. That one's section 143, $2,183. Someone told me look at section 107. Can you find 107 on there, Aaron? Someone said look at section 107, and they put a siren on that one. Let's see. So it's got to be on this side. Okay, that was 111. So what was one? Yeah, that's all right. We get it to work, Aaron. It's not working for you, Aaron. I'm gonna have to do mine and see if that makes a little bit of a difference. Yeah, it's okay. There you go. Maybe that's a little bit better. $1,300 in section 107. Go back. Like, what's the back seat? What's that? Yeah, what's the ones at the end there? $1,000 on 107. My goodness. All right, Aaron, zoom out for a second. So, okay, so go right there, Aaron. Aaron, go like it'll maybe level like 300. Let's look at level 300 out of curiosity. Can you find a 300 level for me and see what that looks like? Wow. So 300, so section 300 right there, that looked like $2,400 right there. Oh my goodness. Wow. So you're better off spending $1,000 on that. This is going to be a come up for a lot of scalpers right now. Those ticket prices are out insane. All right, Aaron, do me a favor. Let's do a filter. Go to the filter section. From a price point, let's do 1,000. Let's just do 1,000 at the lowest. For the lowest, highest price is 1,000. Highest price is 1,000. Let's just see if the highest price is 1,000. That's fine. Now apply it. Let's see what's available in the stadium for less than 1,000. Is there anything that's okay? How about this? How about this, Aaron? Go 800. 800 is the most. Hit best seats. Hit best seats, not lowest price. Hit best seats. Okay, so you can be in section 342 at 800. Might be the low, right in that area will be about the best you can get at this moment for subtotal for 2,000. Wow, that's 1,600. Yeah, let's add in the fees. Let's check this out. Oh, you got to sign in. Aaron! Cliffhanger! Aaron! Oh my gosh! The cliffhanger of all cliffhanger. All right, Aaron, hold on. I'm signed in. Hold on, Aaron. This because now this is the ultimate in the cliffhanger. Let me sign in on my Aaron. Let me see if I can do it. Let us see. Hold on. This is because hell, I was gonna buy a ticket for someone for this damn game, and now I'm looking at it Aaron, I saw some stuff for 600. Now I'm following El Presidente's advice and oh, we should wait. I'm like, okay, well, let's go ahead and wait. And now I'm looking all kinds of stupid because now I'm gonna have to drop an extra 400 on this one. All right, hold on one second, Aaron. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna get to mine. Yup. Okay, so Aaron, let me see. I'm gonna see if I can share my screen. Hold on one second. Where is it? Share screen. All right. Is my screen being shared right now, Aaron? All right. So let's go back to. All right. So because I saw some tickets in here previously. So I was looking at tickets around here, Aaron. Is that showing up, by the way? Okay, Aaron.
Yeah, we can see that. We can see that.
I was gonna say, can you come on air? So
Yep.
this was, I was looking at this section a few days ago, and these were about like 6 something. And I thought to myself, like, that's actually not the worst deal. So these might be in the 300 level. Like here you go, 639. You might be a little bit better over here. Like you might catch a deal in the corners. Not so much though.
Go to the checkout though and see how bad the fees are, because fees are.
Okay, so let's say what you want to do, like this section right here.
Yeah, I'd sit there.
All right, let's say 883. Okay.
I'm assuming I'm the person that the tickets are going to, right?
Watch, I'm going to end up doing it. All right. So let's just do 883. All right. So let's just choose this one, and how do I choose these? Okay, let's buy these now. Okay, so let's go 883. 2 tickets. So the service fee is $185 each, which basically means $370. So yes, there's $2,143. Wow.
Yeah, you're gonna need more pesos.
I'm gonna mean we ain't parking nowhere. Wow. Okay, hold on. So someone said Vivid Seats, right, Aaron?
Vivid Seats has fees too. Who was the one that said there was a site with no fees? That seems tough to believe, but someone said that in the chat.
Okay, so let's go to Vivid Seats real quick. Let's go Sugar. Let's go Sugar Bowl.
Vivid Fee seats are just as bad, because I used that for the baseball playoffs when I was going to those games.
Okay. All righty. You can still see everything?
Yeah, we can see it.
All right. So this one's at, let's say this one's at 641, Aaron. Okay. So that's a pretty cheap price. Okay. So let's go 641, section 155, right? That's decent at that point to be lower bowl. I mean, compared to everything else we're seeing, right? Well, that's 1 ticket. Okay. So let's go this. All right. So let me I'm buying 1 ticket. I'm just going by myself, right? Let's just see what happens. Let's go. Do I have to? I think I already have an account, don't I? I don't know what my damn account is. All right, let me see. I got to create an account. So I don't know, and I don't want to continue with Facebook. All right, let me see if I can continue with Facebook. Don't y'all be looking at my burner accounts. Let's see. Continue as Anwar. Okay, let's continue. All right. Now, don't y'all be calling me. Someone's gonna be. I can't get the final price on this, Aaron.
Yeah.
Now I gotta
might
put
have to get all the way to checkout.
Okay, all right. Well, somebody's gonna have to let me know what that
They're
is.
saying Tick Pick is the one with no fees.
Okay, what is it? TIC?
Yeah, TICK Pick.
All right, this one?
Yeah, I think so.
All righty. Okay, let's because right now we're just trying to avoid the fees, right? So, all right, let's do Sugar Bowl. Okay, from 566. Okay. All right, let's go here. So, all right, I'm pulling up Tick Pick as we can see. All righty. Okay, I don't know the best way to sort this. So let's go 104. Let me just go corners. That's 1,000 each. Okay, here. I'm still showing. All right, so let's go. Well, Aaron, how do I? Because if I click on this, it doesn't show up. So let's go 155. Okay, I see what's saying. 155 would be 788. So all right, let's do 2 tickets. Okay, one ticket. All right, let's go check out. Let's see what happens. There's no fee.
That's crazy. I don't know how they can have no fees and then everyone else has like $1,000 fees. Yeah, that's definitely the deal if it's legit.
I mean, if you guys have used TickPick before, I mean, let me know. But that in itself seems to be once person says the fees are probably built into the price. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. Okay, so all right, so TickPick seems like to be a good one. I'm sure StubHub and all those guys are going to be the same. But yeah, there you go. There's our exercise at that point.
Right, turn your camera back on.
Oh, God darn it, Aaron. Well, how am I supposed to do that? Wow. Well, that was a hell of an exercise. So essentially, what's the move? Do we get the tickets today? I mean, Aaron, what's the move? Is it getting the tickets today?
I think I need to get a press pass. I think I need to put the full court press on the catch and just tell them, hey, I'm driving to the game. I'm staying at a buddy's place. I just need a press pass. I think that's the move.
That's the move. Is probably get it's press credentials because my goodness, the buying of it. Well, I gotta buy a ticket. I'm mad at El Presidente because I listened to him. I was going to buy one, and then he said to wait. And then not for myself, for someone else. And I was like, okay, I'll just wait. It's gonna go down. It's going up like $400. So this like nice little 600 thing that I could have gotten over it on Monday is now up to like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, if they drop, it'll be last second. It'll be people that bought them with the intention of selling them, and then they're gonna hold them. And then if they get desperate, they'll drop them. But that'll be too late if you're trying to like give them to someone else and they've got to travel to the game. So that'd be basically no good at that point.
If you wait, the problem with waiting close. See, the thing is, I think the issue with waiting closer is that the closer, like the Washington fans aren't driving to the game, right? So there's still going to be a ton of Texas fans who are going to go there. Plus, it's New Year's Eve weekend or week. So you have New Year's. So you got people coming from out of town who might just say, I'll just go to a game. I'm getting drunk. I'll just go to a game, the other one. And then Tom G says, rule number 1, never listen to El Presidente. Rule number 2, if El Presidente tells you something, refer back to rule number 1. Ain't that the darn truth? And then, and South End Zone Queen says, well, I went to the CFP reservation site and put a bid in on championship tickets. Mike Torres says, you should have known you were screwed listening to Prez after all his picks this season. Well, from your mouth to God's ears, ain't that the damn truth? Well, thanks, El Presidente. Thanks, El Presidente. Appreciate you. All right. Well, nonetheless, we've done our ticket exploration. And I will, after this show, apparently, just put some. Anybody got some money in some super chats? Hey, bro. Hey, super chat go a long way to help a brother out. You know what I'm saying? Just it'll go a long way. Wow. South End Zone Queen, are you still going? That's my question. You guys still going? All right, let's do this. Let's go to a break. And then when we come back, Ketch is going to be here in a couple of minutes. And then we will talk all kinds of stuff. Transfer portal is heating up. There's plenty of things to discuss. I also have some like newsy things that I want to pass along to you guys that you may not know. But I do have some news that I think is going to be brand new information for a lot of you guys. So I do have that coming on the other side of the break. So don't go anywhere. I need to start looking for tickets. Oh, damn it. All right, Aaron.
I'm assuming we get number 2 next, and I'm assuming obviously that would be Washington, unless they want to get kooky and go to the bottom and like give us 6. But I'm assuming we get number 2. Oh, they're going to say it and then cut away to Harbaugh. They cut away to Jim Harbaugh watching, and now we see the clap reaction in Indianapolis. So we are really slow burning this one. Michigan's won. Jim Harbaugh is clapping and sending someone to all 3 of the prospective
Harbaugh had the
opponents.
signals before the announcement was ever made. Like,
Yes, he did.
knew.
Yeah, well
He
played.
hired someone to be in the room, to buy a ticket to be in the ESPN production room.
The number 2 team we would assume is next. It is, and it's Washington. All right, there's no shock. 2 undefeateds, 2 that we knew if they're undefeated and they win, they get in. They're in. Michigan's in the 1-4 game. Washington is in the 2-3 game. DeBoer and his crew, well-deserving, like Jason said, beat Oregon twice. Now this may be Texas next. This may be the moment, Texas fans, you've been waiting on, because number 3 would be next. Number 3 is next. If it's Texas, then all this hard work, this is why you lift those weights. This is why you do all that
and
shit.
Washington's not having a party, so we don't
they're
have
not
to
cutting away
see the
to
cutaway
Washington.
shot.
Exactly. Could it be Texas? Could it be Texas at number 3? It's got to be the next thing they announce. This could be Texas. Or is it going to be Bama? Or is it going to be Florida State because they're undefeated and they're really weird and they're going to put them at 3? We'll see. Michigan won.
Put Georgia
Washington.
5.
Texas is in. Texas is in. This just
Texas got
in.
3.
Texas is in. They are the 3 seed. Texas and Washington will have a rematch. It's probably, well, I don't know if it's going to be Rose Bowl or not. We'll have to, it may be Atlanta.
That's going to be a fun game. That should be
gonna
a fun
They're
game.
in. They're about to show the reaction. They just went crazy. Phones are being utilized in Austin, Texas to video and take pictures. Things are being thrown. Anwar Richardson is probably being pushed and pulled. Steve Sarkisian is looking very excited. Texas is in. Congratulations, Longhorn fans. You put on the show you needed to put on. The Undertaker gave viewers a belt, and the committee couldn't say no to you.
Yes, Kurt Bowles and I were celebrating, right? It was just Kurt. No, you guys, Kurt was upset. He's like, oh, I have to write something positive. I don't like this. But so it was me and Terry. We were celebrating. We just hugged each other. He was like, I told you guys, if there's anyone who should be doing like a victory lap right now, it should be like Terry. He should be like, I told you guys mocked me, but look at me now. Like if I'm Terry, I'm like, to hell with all of you. Where did Catch go? He was just about to pop in here. Hold on one second. Okay, but yes, nonetheless, Catch, you good? Catch, you good in the background? I want to make sure. Okay, good. Hold on, I'm gonna tweet this out. Hold on one second. Hold on a second. I want to make sure I get this out right now. Let's do this. It is time for my dude, Geoff Ketchum. Let's go to the Speakeasy Lounge. Let's get him hype and excited. And let's bring in our dude, Geoff Ketchum. Good morning, Geoff. How are you? Cannot hear you.
I'm gonna have to come back in.
You look good now. You look clear. I can hear you. Well, looks like it's one-sided. Hello? Well, take him off then, Aaron. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what that is. Let's try it again. Let's try it. Try him again, Aaron. Catch. No one can hear you. Nope. If only we did this every day. All right, he's working on his settings to make sure. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. Well, we'll just continue to play this game. Now the anticipation is building, right? Now everyone wants to know, is it going to work or is it not going to work? All right. I may start down a rabbit hole because I don't want to start down in my thought, Aaron, and then all of a sudden like he pops right back in. So hopefully he hits a reset on his laptop and he'll get in. So he's resetting right now. All right, well, how about this? I'm going to tell you guys something that you may or may not know. I'm going to think the majority of you probably don't know this. As you guys know, the transfer portal window is really important to know. This is really relevant. But the transfer portal window, the deadline to enter a person's name in the transfer portal is January the 2nd. You guys are hopefully well aware of that. Everyone has until January 2nd to enter their name into the transfer portal. Now, that's not the deadline to get to another program. It's just the deadline to get your name in, okay? And so so that's why you see guys are jumping in right now because they're trying to get ahead, right? Try to get their spots and try to get people in. And then you got another contingent of people who are kind of waiting things out. Now, here's something I found out this week. And SEC Mike had made mention of it. And I was like, I don't know. I'm not quite sure about this. And so I had to go and contact the NCAA about this. Found out something really, really interesting, by the way. Hold on one second. Let me see if Catches. It looks like he's not on. So, but I found out something really interesting from the NCAA. Check this out. January 2nd applies to every program that is not in the playoffs. All right, hold on. Catches here. Let's try one more time. Let's see if we're good to go. Geoff Ketchum? What is going on? No? You're going to have a tough time doing the show today, Catch. Sound? Is it plugged in? What is going on? He does this every day. He literally does a show every day. How is that possible? How's that possible? It's almost it's an interesting back and forth, right? Because then it's like I start down the rabbit hole, and then it's like, Geoff is coming in. That's like, all right, well, I'm gonna guys give you this thing I want to tell you about. Oh, well, here comes Geoff. That's like, it's this really interesting game of double dutch. All right, we'll try it one more time and see what happens. All right, so here's what I was trying to say. It's literally we do shows every single day. It shouldn't be this hard. That's what she said. All right. Hi, Geoff. Your audio, I can see you on the screen, but there's nothing as far as audio is concerned. What happens if you unplug it? Your mic. Can I just hear you out the laptop instead? Well, you think he's just messing with me? You think maybe he just doesn't want to do the show and he's just like messing around? Well, this is all right, Aaron. Let's do this. As Ketch is getting some stuff sorted out, let's try to do a quick break, Aaron, and then let's come back and then let's see what happens. Okay, because I don't want to keep going back and forth. Okay, so let's go a quick break.
Casey says in the super chat was hoping for a Texas Bama rematch given the history of what happened in 2009. Yes, I'm getting ahead of myself, but man, I want that revenge bad. Casey, I'm telling you, like, that's what I think you're getting. I think the national championship is going to be Texas versus Alabama. And
Aaron's saying Texas is opened at 4.5-point favorites. Dude, that's a little surprising. I mean, in the Michigan 2.5-point favorites over Alabama. That's the early line already. So.
God,
here's your $1 million question from Steven for $9.99. Texas secondary versus Washington passing game. Is Texas up to the task? Hashtag Longhorns.
Yeah.
It's the worst possible matchup, I think, from a football standpoint that Texas could have been given, because Michigan, J.J. McCarthy's a good player, but their passing game isn't what Washington is. And we know Texas's kryptonite is a really good quarterback. They've seen 3 of them this year, and all 3 of them have had at least some really, at the very least, some modest. What would we call what Milroe did in Tuscaloosa? Was that modest success, or even something a little bit beyond that?
You're talking about just in that game?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because he ended up throwing for like 270 or something like that.
Had
Alabama in the lead, and then Texas storms into the fourth quarter. But I thought Milroe played well. And then Dylan Gabriel and Will Howard in their games obviously played really well. Longhorns win 2 of those games. They lose 1. I mean, look, it's going to be a battle, guys. Texas and Washington. There's no reason to like bullshit you. I think Texas should win the game, but I fully expect it to be a fourth quarter exciting affair.
Geoff Ketchum.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
I don't even know. It just literally, as I entered the studio, Anwar, the page was just shut down. You were freezing. I couldn't push on any of the icons. I don't know. I'm here. Let's go. Let's rock it.
The good part is you got this kinks worked out now as opposed to noon.
Oh, I don't think we've worked out any kinks, but I think we're making it work. I think Aaron, I'm in as a guest, which means I can't do anything, but I'm here.
Okay. All right. That's fine. Well, as long as you're here, can you still see the chats and stuff as well? Oh, you can't see a chat.
I mean, I'll try, but like every time I push on a button, Anwar, it's shut down. So I'm scared.
Okay, so you're not going to touch anything.
Yeah, I want to go. I'm up. Let's just do this.
All right, let's do this. This will make it work. Good morning to you, Ketch. Happy Friday to you. Ketch, you'll appreciate this. I'll say something to make you smile. Okay. This weekend, I'll be going to San Antonio as Max competes in a Keeper Wars competition. Okay. You know what that is, right?
No, but I love the fact that he's all in.
All chips in. 10 toes in and 10 toes down. And so it's one keeper versus another, and about 20 yards away. There's a midfield thing, 3-minute halves, 1-minute break.
They fight each other? What are we doing here?
Hey, you score, I score. You score, I score. You stop me, I stop you. And anything goes. You can kick it. You can kick it however you want to kick it. You can even throw it in if you want to. Like anything. It's mano y mano is what it is. And so 6 games on Saturday, and then that's kind of the seeding, and then you start doing the eliminations on Sunday. So just from a soccer perspective, I figured that would be enough to make you smile, at least get you hyped up after everything. Ketch, I don't know what you want to do. We had a jam-packed war room, and I don't know how many nuggets you would like to tease, or because we can't give away the whole thing, right? Because that defeats the purpose of having Orange Bloods if we give away everything. But for those of you who aren't on Orange Bloods, yesterday was one of those days that you would, yesterday would have paid for itself, to be quite honest with you, for all the information that's out there. What do you feel comfortable letting out as far as a couple of things we can tease to, whether it's transfer portal? I'll probably mention something at some point today, Ketch, about the the window as relates to playoff teams as well, which was interesting. No, just kind of thought, what can we give them?
I mean, I'm not tripping. We can talk about whatever we want to talk about. I mean, you know, you're going to get a much more richer, complete experience if you read it all. You know, I feel like one of those movie directors. It's like, I made the movie. You need to watch it like I made the movie, but we can talk about the movie and certain parts of it, knowing that, you know, the best way to truly experience it is the way we created it. I think that it's amazing to me that this team is in a playoff game in 4 weeks and everybody's consumed by the portal. No, I put up a Portal Combat article last night, a few hours after we did the War Room, and I've got the War Room as the lead story on the front page, and yet there's been more activity on the Portal Combat. It gives you an idea, I think, of like how interested fans are in what's going on in the portal. I think they're even more interested in the portal than they are in recruiting. We'll get a spike when Kobe Black announces. And, you know, I think that whenever we get a sense for there's a few prospects that people are interested in, when their moments come, they will have their moments. But I think in general, there's an obsession of sorts right now with the portal. And I don't know that I would have fully anticipated that this week, given that Texas is in the playoffs. But, you know, I thought maybe the most important note that was in the War Room last night was your confirmation about Derek Williams missing the first half against Washington. And other than like someone bitching about a Big 12 official giving you an answer on the subject matter, there wasn't a lot of discussion about that. And I think that will have a sizable impact on what happens in that game in New Orleans. You know, I might go so far as to say that Derek Williams is the most influential safety on the roster right now. His playing time has spiked as the season has gone along. That didn't cause nearly as much of a ripple as a recruiting insight or there. Maybe that's just the way it is. I mean, we know that recruiting has long driven the business, and the portal is a new extension of that. But, you know, we haven't been in this position, you and I working together, where the Longhorns are this good, this close to a national championship, and there's less foaming at the mouth for give us some Washington, Texas scoop as there is who's going to be the next wide receivers in the portal that the Longhorns are going to target. You know, just a reminder of what truly drives the industry, I suppose.
You know, it's fascinating too, Ketch, and we could probably I just noticed your sign-in name. I'm sorry. I just noticed your name on the screen. Yeah, I just you know what's interesting, Ketch, is that you know, when it comes to it, you know, to use a fishing analogy, you know, Steve Sarkisian isn't net fishing. They pole fish. They get one or two. They get a couple of guys, but they don't cast a wide net. They're not getting. Remember the Michigan State haul a few years ago where they were just grabbing everybody in the portal. Colorado, for obvious reasons, grabbed like 625 people in the portal. They're only grabbing a few guys per year. It's still, Catch, from a philosophy standpoint, before we get into the specifics of it, right? It seems to be like Steve Sarkisian and those guys are really saying, okay, give us 3 people, maybe 4, to fill in some holes and fill in stuff, but they're just not, Catch, it doesn't seem like they're just looking for anybody who's willing and able. It seems like when they go over the portal, it's for something very specific. They seem to be content to wait for the best, and they're not settling and wasting roster spots. Is that kind of your take of that as well?
Yeah, but I think, you know, I had been told months ago that Sarkisian had seen the success that Florida State had. I think the Florida State LSU game at the very beginning of the season was a real eye-opener for a lot of people because – you know, that was a Florida State team, I mean, literally built by the portal. what Norval's done in Tallahassee with the portal is kind of a petri dish of ideas of how you build a football team. And when they slaughtered LSU on a neutral field, I was told that it was a bit of an eye opener for Sarkisian. And I think now he is potentially I think there's a pickiness that will forever remain in place, but I think we might be looking at a portal class that might be somewhere between 8 to 10 instead of 4 to 6. I know that they want a couple of wide receivers. Most of this, I think, is on the defensive side of the ball, because at one point I think tight end was going to be a priority, and it doesn't seem to be right now, which I think is a little bit of an indicator of what they think Jatavian Sanders might do. We know they won't do anything on the offensive line, so it might be a couple of receivers on the offensive side of the ball, but they could take a couple of defensive tackles. I think they're going to take an edge player. I think they'd like to get at least one linebacker. We know that at least one. We know that they're looking at a safety in Andrew Mukuba. So, you start adding that up: 2 receivers, 2 defensive tackles, an edge player, at least one linebacker, a safety. I mean, I'm at 7, and that doesn't include maybe a second linebacker or a second DB. But I think they're certainly going for quality. They're not looking to take bums. I think they're looking to take guys that they think will be starters and or rotation type guys at a minimum. If they can find those types of players, then I think they'll go in heavily. And so I think I think they're looking to take maybe more in the portal than we've seen them take in the past. I think they're aggressive, and I think they may have a better plan. I think that because they may be taking more this year, I think we may be seeing a more elaborate strategy. I don't get the sense that they're sitting around and waiting, and I think that's been a problem in the past. I think they've been very active. I think they've got a better idea of who may be coming in and who may be coming out. And so right now, I don't really have any. You know me, I love to nitpick, but right now I kind of like this is kind of the strategy that I would be implementing.
It sounds like a real philosophy change, Ketch, from when Sark got here. Because remember this, he would get asked about the portal. I would ask him about the portal, and he viewed it like, hey, we got to recruit high school kids. Like that portal thing sounds okay, but it's all about high school kids. And it's almost like when he hit on some of those guys, and then he hit, and then start seeing other people hit, and now it's like, oh yeah, you know what? This ain't too bad. Like we go to a portal, and I can wait for a guy to develop, or I can just get Adonai Mitchell. Like we could go into the portal. I can wait for somebody to develop, or I can get a Keelan Robinson who ends up being an all-star for me on special teams. Like I can go and try to recruit somebody, or I can get a Ryan Sanborn and have a punter that is like, it's almost like it's like, oh snap, this thing is hitting. It seems like a philosophy change because of the success that they've had.
I think you're 100% right. I think the Adonai Mitchell situation is probably the thing that turned this thing fully, because I don't think they're in the playoff without Adonai Mitchell. Like I think he has been a true difference maker for this Texas offense. He was perfect in terms of what do you want as a complementary receiver next to Xavier Worthy and his skill set. But this is, for all of the pointing at Florida State, and look, Florida State, and you could make a case that most of the teams that are having the success that they're having this season wouldn't be there without the portal. Washington, I mean, they got their quarterback from the portal. They got their starting running back from the portal. They've done damage also in the portal. But when you look at this Texas team, Quinn Ewers comes from the portal. We mentioned Adonai Mitchell, but Keelan Robinson, as you mentioned, Ryan Watts, even a guy like Trill Carter, who I think was recruited almost as much for next year as this year, ends up being a guy that's been a really good depth player at defensive tackle for them, and down the stretch actually played more or at least as much as a Vernon Broughton or an Alfred Collins. Suddenly you look across the team and Sanborn is another example. Look, in the Big 12 championship game, you're missing Ryan Watts, and Malik Muhammad gets hurt early in that game. Who's the player that comes in and holds it down at corner for the majority of that game when they had availability issues elsewhere? Gavin Holmes. So it hasn't just been impact starters. They've, I think, been able to get really solid depth pieces. And look, if it wasn't Gavin Holmes, is it one of these guys that's transferring out that hasn't otherwise played much this season? It really has improved the depth of this team. And I think Sarkisian, as he gets a better handle of, hey, how can I use this to my benefit? I think he's being more aggressive with it. And I will say this, look, I've often nitpicked in previous years Sarkisian for maybe not being quite as aggressive enough. One of the guys that entered the portal yesterday, Larry Turner Gooden, was a guy that when he was recruited, I was like, why?
Mm-hmm.
Why take that guy? Save that.
Yeah.
And go get a guy who's going to improve your depth immediately. And so when he enters the portal, yesterday, it's like, yeah, no, you could see that. The thing is, when you're at Texas now, and you take some of these 3 low 4-star guys, those rankings don't mean that they can't play. But oftentimes what it means is they might be 2 or 3 year projects, which 20 years ago wasn't a big deal. But in 2023, and we're almost into 2024, dudes don't want to sit around and wait that long. And honestly, coaches don't want to wait either. Yeah. I mean, we're at a point now where Sark's probably doing some of his postseason meetings, and he's telling some of these guys that are into their first or the back into their second year, like, I don't know if this is going to happen for you. And, it makes you wonder if Tavondre Sweat, if Sark had got a hold of him after his second year, would they have been as patient? Because it's an industry now that doesn't have a lot of time for patience. But if you're Sarkisian, I think you should be targeting as much instant impact players as possible. 2 and 3 year projects, those fizzle out way more often than they hit. And so, but the thing that I really like about Sarkisian is that he does adjust. I think he can be stubborn and then flip a switch and say, you know what, I'm not stubborn anymore. He does a very good job of evolving on the fly and not being the last guy to evolve. He's somewhere in the middle. He's not on the front burner trying to be, at the forefront of changing the game, but he's also not holding on for dear life to the old ways. He's somewhere in the middle, and that's probably a nice little sweet spot for him. But I do appreciate the fact that I think where he stood 2 years ago, he's evolved from that, and I think it's one of the reasons why they're in the playoffs.
I mean, it's got to be the main reason, right? Like you said, Quinn Ewers, Adonai Mitchell. I mean, we can go down the list. If you don't have these guys from the portal and you're just saying, I've had to develop what I have, Texas is not in the situation, Ketch. It's hard to imagine that world. It's hard for me to talk myself into a world where it's Casey Thompson or Hudson Card are the guys that are trying to lead you to the playoffs, right?
Who's the starting quarterback if Quinn Ewers never transfers in?
It's got to be. It's one of the two. It's either Hudson or Casey.
It'd probably have to be Hudson, right? But maybe Casey. Like,
I think it was
a completely different universe that we live in without the portal. Specifically and I think the portal may eventually be known more than anything else for the quarterback moving around that takes place. We mentioned Michael Penix was a guy, he didn't start his career at Washington. Right. Bo Nix is a guy that transfers. Caleb Williams transferred. Like, they're all over the place. You almost have more guys that have transferred and moved around after an initial spot then you have guys that came into that school, developed at that school, and now will finish out at that school. It feels more rare than common.
Catch, there becomes a huge juggling act that I feel like Sarkisian has to do with this, because you're right. The portal, that's you can hit pay dirt right away, right? I mean, out of all the kids that, hit in a class, like, so we would say Anthony Hill, automatic, right? Derek Williams has been automatic, but there's a whole lot of other guys who are just, you're waiting for, right? But there's a balancing act here too, Catch, because you've still got kids who haven't signed on the dotted line, right? And so there is this dotted line. There's this careful thing, right, where Sarkisian and every coach really has to walk, right? Which is, I like some portal guys, and I think they can come in and make an impact. I don't want to scare away the guys who are going to be signing in another week and change. And so there is a, slow play. There is a balancing act. Like, how do they go about, like, hey, I might be interested in a guy, but I don't want to scare off the guys who are going to be coming in here.
I think there's a Colin Simmons anecdote here that's really interesting. So Texas does have an interest in this kid, Trey Moore from UTSA, who led the nation in sacks, was 6th in the country in tackles for loss. He was the American Conference Defensive Player of the Year. But they got Colin Simmons coming in, who is a guy that they have thirst trapped over, right? I mean, before that guy committed, that dude could have done anything on social media, and Texas coaches and football people would have been thirsting after everything, and they still are. I had someone this week say, look, Colin Simmons for us is Anthony Hill from a year ago. We think he is, if not a day one starter, he's an instant impact day one. When we go on the road in Ann Arbor, like, he's playing, and we think he's going to be an important player for us immediately. But there is an interest in this Trey Moore guy. Matter of fact, there have been competitors of ours. One of the guys at 24/7 put in a crystal ball for Texas to get Trey Moore. And the thing that I was told about Trey Moore is he is not competition for Colin Simmons. Mm-hmm. And we got signing day coming up. We're not going to do anything that's going to upset the apple cart with Colin Simmons. We like Trey Moore, but we probably like him as opposite Colin Simmons. If we could get him and Colin Simmons on the field together, jackpot. And I think what you're looking at is he's probably competition for Baron Sorrell. I think he's competition for a Justice Finkley and a Jamon Tapp. I think they're thinking those guys aren't quite exactly what we're looking for. And if we can add one of the best players in the country there, then we will. But they're not going to do anything that's going to upset Collins at all.
Yeah.
And we saw them do this with offensive linemen when they signed the 2022 class. I was like, get in there and get some of these dudes from the portal.
Yeah.
So that you don't have to play Cole Hudson as a true freshman. You can play a really good player and let Cole Hudson develop and not just throw young guys on the field. And that's not what Kyle Flood wanted to do. So I also think position by position, there is an ideology that each of the position coaches have and that Sark might have. And so it's different. I wouldn't think they'd go into the offensive line for the portal at all. But I think there are other positions, and I think wide receiver is certainly one of them. We've seen almost every year they've been okay with going to get skill guys. Whether, they tried Jaleel Billingsley, they tried Ajay Hall, they went after that cat from Michigan whose name I can't even remember anymore. So I think there are some positions they feel really comfortable about, and I think there are some positions that they feel like will be high school exclusive. But I do think it's evolving, and it is strange. It feels like there's wide receivers, and then I think there's trying to get a lot of help on defense. And when you look at the defense of this team, there's going to be probably more turnover on the defensive side of the ball coming out of this season than there will be on the offensive side of the ball. And so it makes sense that that's where they're not going to wait on young guys. They can't afford to wait on young guys. They can't afford to say, we got some young guys that we like, but we're losing all of our starters. Let's just pencil in Justice Finkley or Jamon Tapp and say that they'll, one way or the other, they're going to make it. You don't know that. They might, but they also might be stuck in the land of okay or pretty good, but not great. And this is a program that is competing for national championships now. And any drop off at those positions maybe takes you below that bar. And I just don't think that Steve Sarkisian has any interest at all in slumming it in 8-4 seasons. I think 12-1 fancies him. And I think he's going to want to do whatever he can to make sure that next year isn't a rebuilding year just because.
It's hard to have a steak dinner and then just turn around and go to McDonald's the next day, right? You may have had McDonald's and that's cool, but you're like, man, this steak here from Ruth Chris is pretty damn banging. Like, I don't really know if I want to do this. Like, yes, if you're at the point and you're Sark and you're in the playoffs, you're thinking about, I got to bring in guys to maintain that, not bodies, not something warm. I got to bring in dudes who can compete, especially in the SEC, that are going to compete against Georgia, Alabama. We got Georgia on the schedule. We got Michigan on the road on the schedule. Got an SEC slate. Like, he can't just be slumming it with anybody. Like, he's got to get dogs. And now, Aaron, do this for me. The scholarship board, because this is Ketch's expertise. We're going to put that on the screen for you, Ketch. Give everybody an understanding of where Texas is at this moment, and what you see happening and what needs to happen.
Well, okay, so I think the first thing you do is you start on the far right, not where the 2024 commits are, but look at that total bar. And if you go all the way down to the bottom, you'll see that Texas, with the attrition that it's had just this week alone, right? They've had 6 guys go into the portal. So they're now at 78 total scholarships. Now, if you go over to where the seniors are, you see that they've got 14 seniors. Now, some of those guys might stick around. I mean, there's been conversations, what will Alfred Collins do? I think there's even been some conversation about might David Benda hang around for another year, but forget about that for a second. Take that 14 and subtract it from 78, and you've got 64. Well, that number right there would tell you that if you're trying to get to 85, you've got 21 scholarships to play with. Now, we think Worthy's gone. We think Mitchell's gone. We know that Byron Murphy has already accepted a bid to play in the Senior Bowl, so he's gone. So that's 3 more. So now instead of 64, you're at 61, which means you've got 24 spots. Well, Texas is sitting at 20 scholarship players in their recruiting class for the high school guys. I think that might get up to 25 when it's all said and done, somewhere between 23 and 25. We know they want Xavier Filsaime. We know that they want Kobe Black. We know that they're kicking the tires on a few other guys. So we'll give them a little wiggle room from somewhere between 20 and 25. And we know that they want to take about 7-ish guys in the portal. If they can. I mean, I say they want to take 2 defensive tackles if they can get them. There's no guarantee that they'll be able to get guys that they like. It's a position of premium. But if they were able to do everything that they want to do, they may need – that might be a total of somewhere between 30 and 32 incoming players. In order to do that, they've got to free up some scholarships. And you take that 78 and you subtract the 14, you're at 64. You subtract the juniors that you think are going to be gone. That gets you down to about 61. So you've got 24. Well, Anwar, it's real simple. If you want to take 32, but you've only got room for 24, you're going to need more attrition. And I think that's the thing that most people don't understand enough. It's like, oh my God, there's 6 guys in the portal. What's going on? Well, when it's all said and done, Texas may need 14 guys to go into the portal. Not in the next 3 days, not in the next week and a half. They need to do that before August. And, Texas has averaged double-digit numbers in attrition. For those that don't know, attrition is just players departing. Every year since 2005, they averaged about 12 or 13 guys departing per year. So the numbers that we're not talking about aren't crazy, because it's not just guys leaving. I mean, some guys get hurt and retire from football. Some guys get arrested and get thrown off the team. Some guys just decide they don't want to do it anymore. And they decide, you know what, I'm just going to go to school. Like, there's a lot of ways that players end up in this pile of players that are attrition. And a lot of guys decide they want to go play elsewhere, and they enter the portal. The bottom line is, Texas, if you're looking at the scholarship board, you're probably going to need about 6 to 8 more people to be whittled off this thing in order for Texas to bring in the level of high school class that they want to, in addition to the volume and numbers and quality in the portal that they would like to do. So when you look at this list, understand that there are going to be some more names that come off of it. Mm-hmm. And, I don't want to be that guy where we're looking at names and trying, well, this guy never plays. I'll give you an example. It's probably not the fair thing to do, but I'll use one name as an example. Max Merrill is a redshirt sophomore on the offensive line that just hasn't played at all. I mean, he hasn't. And he's been in the program 3 seasons. And I think almost from the moment he came into the program, there's been some discussion about whether or not he would eventually leave the program or not. But if you want to play the game of who might not be on this scholarship board in August, probably the first thing to do is to look at who's not playing. It really is as simple as that. Guys that aren't playing are usually the guys that are going to be the first ones to enter the portal. And if you go position by position, whether or not you think they're really talented or not, if they're not playing, sometimes these things kind of answer themselves. And if they're not playing and they're from out of state, that makes them, I think, an even bigger potential target as a possible portal player. The out-of-state guys, for obvious reasons, end up oftentimes being among the first guys to leave. When you look at what's happened at Texas A&M this week, almost all of those 12 names that have entered the portal are from out of state. I mean, it's New Jersey, Florida, Pennsylvania, you name it. There's a bunch of guys that came a long way to play for Jimbo Fisher. And with Fisher no longer being there, suddenly these guys are in situations they didn't sign up for. And it oftentimes makes a lot of sense if those guys are the first to go home. And we've even seen it a little bit this week with Texas. I mean, one of the guys that enters both of the guys that entered the portal yesterday for the Longhorns, both out-of-state guys, one from Louisiana, one from California.
You got to expect, Catch, as relates to the portal of, there's conversations that have to be had, right? And so Sark, they sit down and they talk to guys. Now, one of the things I learned, Catch, is that there's some guys who are thinking like, hey, I'm going to go in the portal. But they want to kind of have that national championship ring potentially as well, right? I mean, there is that to say to yourself like, hey, I actually won a ring. It's not a once in a lifetime thing. So while they're having guys now, which is, I get the thought is, do I find a spot now or do I hang on and it's too late and then I don't know what to do. So there is from a player perspective, Catch, there is this, hey, I'm going to go in the portal and it might be the right thing to do, but this would be really nice, to have. And so I think from a Texas perspective, that thing may not happen really until, January, where you start seeing more guys say, okay, now that this thing has happened, I've got a ring. I've got my pictures. I got something for Instagram and social media. Then I'll go. And then but the other point though, Catch, is Texas may find themselves in a situation, Catch, when the window to enter your name kind of closes and guys are saying, I wanted to wait. It may be spring is when we see more of a mass exodus of guys. Because at that point, Catch, you just say to yourself, like, hey, I'm here. School's about to start in another week. I don't really have a place to go. I may need to go into spring. And one of the things I had in the war room, and I was going to talk about it here, which is, I found out yesterday, is that while January 2nd is the deadline to put your name in the portal, if you're in the playoffs, though, those rules change. You get an extra 5 days to enter your name in the portal from whenever your last game is. So for Texas, if it's January 1st, add 5. If they get to the national championship game, then add 5 to that January 8th date. So there are some guys who may have a little bit more time. The tricky part, though, is a lot of spots might be gone. And then therefore, you may have a lot of guys on the roster, and really springtime is where you see more guys starting to leave.
Yeah, I mean, look at Larry Turner Gooden. I'm guessing it would have been cool. And look, some of these guys might still stick around and do the bowl trip. There's been some conversation that Steve Sarkisian, despite the hard line language that he's used about guys and the portal, it's tricky. These guys, Larry Turner Gooden's not going to have an endless list of suitors.
Yeah.
And the longer he waits, the more spots that he might have otherwise landed in get filled. And suddenly you're playing a game of musical chairs and you don't have a chair. Yeah. So the guys that have entered the portal this week, I think, are in kind of a tough spot. Not a single guy that's entered the portal this week for the Longhorns would have had any role whatsoever in the playoff game against Washington.
Mm-hmm.
So Texas hasn't lost that, although there will still be people who are going to say, Jalen Catalon, when is that going to happen? It was just, what didn't work out, guys. That's the other thing. Just like in recruiting in the portal, you have to almost take enough to build in some guys don't pan out.
Yeah.
I mean, and we've seen that. Look, a couple of years ago when they took Agiye Hall and Jaleel Billingsley, one of the things that made those losses so significant was there weren't really other guys. It was like, okay, Agiye Hall is our wide receiver in this portal class. And if he didn't work out, what ends up happening? They go the entire year, and that outside receiver spot was never addressed. I mean, Casey Kane ends up having the big bowl game last year, but that was after basically every receiver on the roster had a turn as that outside starting receiver. Now, Adonai Mitchell filled that void, but sometimes you're going to bring in guys. What I liked about Catalon last year was that they treated him like he was going to be found money.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if he could play and be as good as he was a few years ago, great. If he couldn't, nothing slowed down because of him. And I thought, going out and getting a guy like Gavin Holmes, again, he didn't start this year, but he gave you invaluable depth because there were times when guys got banged up and they needed that depth. They like to rotate their corner. So we saw a lot of Malik Muhammad and Gavin Holmes already. It's a real subtle thing to think that your third or fourth corner from the portal is a big addition. But I'm telling you, it was a hell of a thing last week against Oklahoma State when there's no Ryan Watts and Malik Muhammad comes in and starts out like gangbusters. And then he gets a knock and has to leave a field. And it was quite a luxury to, at that point, needing to go to your fourth corner. And your fourth corner is a guy that started like 2 or 3 seasons in the ACC and is a good player. Yeah. And I think that that's one of the things that Sarkisian has really learned. You know what? If I don't get the Adonai Mitchell of wide receivers, it doesn't mean that some of these guys can't be really valuable. I think the Keelan Robinson one's a perfect example. He's never really come close to being a starter at Texas.
Yeah.
But every once in a while, he makes a massive play, and you go, what are they going to do without that guy next year, right? Like every once in a while, he makes a play on special teams as a punt block guy or a return guy, or they'll use him in the offense in a way they don't use anybody else. And I think what I like about Sarkisian is that he can be very hardline about something. And in 12 months later, he can have a completely evolved opinion. That's not easy for a lot of men to do. Forget about coaches. Just in general, men are stubborn creatures.
Yes.
And look at what's happened to Dabo. Dabo just now is like, well, I guess I'll go into the portal. But you know what he's still doing? He's still worried about tampering. Oh, we need to get these coaches in schools that are tampering, as if everybody's not already in the whorehouse.
Correct.
And I thought the most interesting thing that Sarkisian said all year was when Chip Brown asked him about the portal earlier, a few weeks ago. And I thought, is he going to look at this as a gotcha question? Like how's he going to answer this? And instead, Sark was very enlightening in saying, you know what? This stuff happens. Coaches and other schools are going to be contacting our players. We've got good players, and it's part of 2023 college football. He didn't sound like a guy who was clinging for dear life about the old ways. And I think maybe 2 years ago he might have. I think maybe 2 years ago he'd have been like, you know what? I got people trying to talk to my players. It's pissing me off. And instead, Sarkisian kind of shrugged his shoulders and said, hey, we're going to make it work. And you know what? We're probably going to be active in the portal too. So we can't really bite the hand that feeds us. I can't say I hate the portal, but hey, look at my 10 touchdown guy in Adonai Mitchell. Like it just, and I appreciate that. There's nothing fake about the way he kind of approaches this new system. And he's evolved on the fly in very quick fashion. And I don't know that he's gotten enough credit for that.
Yeah, I think, Catch, I think you're hitting on something that's really, very in tune, because there definitely was not just a Sarkisian. There's definitely been some pearl clutching as relates to the portal. The same honestly, Catch, the same pearl clutching that happened with NIL, right? And there was as college football was adapting, there was like, we can't pay players. It's like, okay, stop. First of all, you've been paying players under the table for a while, so let's just relax here. And
nobody ever wants to admit that.
Nobody, Catch. But it's like, you've been playing, Catch. If we could write a book and not get sued about the players who we've heard about in the past that have been paid. All these dudes were getting paid. At least the elite guys were getting paid. So there was the clutch your pearls over like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen when you start paying players, and what are they going to do with the money? They need money management classes. Like, this is going to be so bad for college football. We can't afford it. Our schools are going to go under. You heard how many years we heard can't afford to play players. Remember, every school is going to go broke. It's like, you guys are lying. Lying. You were liars. Your school's not going broke. You guys are still making money. Programs will go under if you got to pay them. And so that was BS. And then we also got to the portal thing, and it's like, oh my gosh, this is going to be so bad. It was so awful. And people forget the transfer portal thing really started because college football coaches were a bunch of a-holes. Okay, they were a bunch of a-holes that if you wanted to leave my program, well, you know what? You can't go to an SEC program. You can't go to an ACC program. You can't go anywhere in my region. You can't go to a school that I thought of in one day, and they would ban the kids from places that they can go, even if there was medical reasons. Even if my mom is sick, I want to go back home. They're like, nope, you can't play there.
And Anwar, completely different rules than other sports. Aaron will tell you, like the transfer game in baseball, was already kind of, I don't want to say willy-nilly, but guys are able to transfer and kind of go and move around as they wish. Different roles only in football. And you're right. It was like the most powerful coaches making $10 million a year saying, well, you can go play college football in Alaska, I guess.
Correct. If you got to go somewhere. And so then they had to adjust to that. And now what these coaches have realized, but they're like, well, you know what? They started off just a few years ago, like, well, you know what? The most important thing is going to be high school recruiting. There's nothing that's ever going to beat that. And gosh darn it, forget all these guys that we're going to bring in. We're not going to do it. And now they're like, oh, wait, you mean I can win right away? You mean like right now? Like I can win right now and I can get guys? Oh, hell yeah. I want that. Give me all that. And now to your point, now when you start to see the successful programs and you start to see the guys that they have on their roster, everybody's like, oh, I need some portal action. I know guys and coaches, they're like, man, name drop. And I'm like, who's about to be a coach soon? I'm like, man, how you going to guys get roster? Oh man, I'm going to the portal. I'll get some dogs out of there. Things have changed. And props to Sarkisian for evolving in that and realizing, like, you know what, we could use this thing to our advantage. Still recruiting, still making sure we get those guys, but for those key pieces to get us over the top and keep us there, the portal is actually your friend.
Well, and look, it ain't just the little sisters of the poor. I mean, one of the things that we saw last year, Alabama had a big wide receiver need. What did they do? They went out in the portal and got like 3-4 guys at the wide receiver position. We've seen Trevor Etienne go into the portal yesterday. Who are the 3 schools that he's looking at the most?
Who's that?
Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State. So, everybody's figuring out that this can be a thing that benefits them. And you know what? Texas will be a school that's used. They're not yet. We haven't thought of Texas as the portal school. That's mostly been Florida State. But look, I guarantee you that by the time we're done with the playoffs, somebody nationally is going to write the story about how the portal and the success that Texas – Jason Sukumel will think I'm crazy because he and I were arguing about it earlier this week. He's still of the opinion that, well, Quinn doesn't count. And
how did not count?
And I'll give you Adonai Mitchell, but that's it. And it's like, no, that's not it. You've got legitimately about 5 players who are really important to this team as starting level players when you think about Quinn and Adonai Mitchell and Ryan Sanborn and Ryan Watts. But I just think you can't discount Gavin Holmes, Keelan Robinson, Trill Carter. I kind of made fun of the Trill Carter addition when it came in. He's been a really solid player for Texas. And, you can't suddenly on a depth chart, 25% of your roster can't be made of portal guys in terms of the 2 deep and then turn around and say that it hasn't made a big difference. I think before it's all said and done, we will see articles written about how Texas has been able to accelerate the growth under Sarkisian because of the portal. Because if this was a team that didn't have the portal and NIL as a combined entity, they wouldn't be in the playoff right now. This would have been, and they don't win the Big 12 championship in all likelihood. I mean, if we start taking the portal guys out of the equation and we're just working with high school guys, Texas is probably an 8-4 or 9-3 team this year. And maybe they sneak into the Big 12 championship game, but they're not bludgeoning Oklahoma State in that game. And they're not in the playoffs. So one of the low-key, real important stories of this team isn't NIL and it isn't portal. It's the combination of those things. And oh, by the way, Texas has done an amazing job of both getting super blue chip prospects in the last 2 or 3 years, but they're panning out at a very high level. When we go back and look at the difference makers that they've been able to get in recruiting, very few of them are toiling on the bench and not making an impact. those guys are supposed to hit at somewhere between a 50 to 70% clip. And it feels like Texas is hitting on a higher note than that. And, oh, by the way, and this is the thing I think also gets lost, 3-star Tavondre Sweat, 3-star Byron Murphy, 3-star Jahdae Barron, or low 4 stars. They've also done a really good job of taking some guys with low odds in terms of developing into significant players, and they've done a really good job of development. Christian Jones is another. They've done a good job of developing and creating success stories out of guys that on paper were mathematically against becoming difference makers. So it's all of this stuff coming together at the same exact time that have created these 2023 Longhorns.
And the thing is, I mean, Catch, with the Jason argument, the one that I think is a better argument that wouldn't technically count, but it could almost is not an official portal, is Xavier Worthy.
Yeah.
Like, Xavier Worthy doesn't count as a portal guy technically, but he did transfer, right? I mean, like he did have a commit with someone and he was able to get out of that again. He doesn't necessarily count as a transfer portal guy. But I can make an argument, or you can just put an asterisk by him. But you know what? Catch, are you still there? By the way, you started getting a little fun. So you know what an Adonai Mitchell does for a guy like Steve Sarkisian? It allows a guy like Jonte Cook to sit down and sit and develop, and then be a guy that they can probably look at next year as a person that's there. Catch, your internet is looking bad now. I think we've gone as far as we can.
I mean, it'll come back around.
All right, you sure? All right. Well, right now, what is? You were doing great. We was doing great. Well, you can still hear me, right?
Yes.
Okay, so it does make a guy like an Adonai Mitchell be able to play, and Jonte Cook gets to sit and develop, right? There's other guys who get to come in, and now Sark is actually able to, I think, develop guys. I think there ends up being way more wins in it than there are losses, for the entire program at this moment.
Yeah, Anwar, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, well, my internet connection does look incredibly shaky, but here's what I'll do. I'll keep going. If it gets to a point where I'm either frozen or not, give me 10 seconds and I'll turn my Wi-Fi on and off. It's weird. It's not showing that I'm having problems, but I can see what Aaron is seeing, and it ain't good.
Today's going to be interesting.
Maybe. Chad, just do it yourself again today. I'm sorry. So what were we just saying? I was talking about how having some of these portal guys has also, as a byproduct, allows some other guys to develop, and they don't have to be rushed so quickly. Which otherwise would have had to have happened because this team doesn't yet fully have all. I mean, Steve Sarkisian's in his 3rd season, so it takes time for a lot of these guys. Aaron, put the scholarship board back up there for a second. Anwar, if you look at the scholarship board, I mean, look at all those freshmen. They got 78 players in the program right now, but a third of those are all true freshmen.
Yeah.
And when you go over and you look at sophomore classes, I mean, if you just start sophomores over and you work your way backwards, you're still going to see a lot of guys at Justice Finkley, Ethan Burke, Cole Hudson, Cam Williams. Jaden Blue was in that group up until the last few games when Jonathan Brooks gets hurt. Suddenly, Jaden Blue's a guy that starts to – but maybe Jaden Blue wasn't ready at the beginning of the season. I think that, this is still a Texas – Sarkisian is building this program mostly through the high school football recruiting. So if you're going to do that, you got to let guys develop. And, if you take an Adonai Mitchell out of the mix, Jonte Cook, ready or not, has to play and has to be a starter immediately. Or you're going to a guy like Casey Kane, who deep down we all know isn't at that level. Solid, good player, not the kind of guy that's going to get you to a playoff game. And I think, look at that freshman list, and you'll see mostly guys that haven't been ready for prime time. As celebrated as that freshman class was, CJ Baxter, probably Anthony Hill, Malik Muhammad, Derek Williams. You got 4 or 5 guys that were truly ready to come in and play. And part of the beauty of the portal is it's allowed some guys who maybe weren't. And look at that linebacker class. 5 dudes in that linebacker class.
Yeah.
And when we talk about linebacker, I think when they may want to take 1 or 2 in the portal, they're scheduled to lose 3. So if you look at the linebacker position and you say goodbye to Ford, Benda, and Bush, look at what's left. Maurice Blackwell, and then that freshman class that outside of Anthony Hill hasn't done anything yet. So, yeah, you can see where they'd like to add a couple of linebackers to make sure that if Samaje Burrell, Leona Lafau, Darian Gillette, Tasil Akana, if none of those guys are ready to be starting level players a year from now, it doesn't bring everything down. I mean, you don't want a program that's a house of cards, but man, you look at that linebacker position, you get rid of the seniors, and there's nothing but 1 junior and a bunch of freshmen. And you can't live that way. And the portal, again, allows you to not be forced to live in a neighborhood that you don't necessarily want to live in.
Fascinating stuff, Catch. It's good information. I think there's a lot of good information that's in here. Last thing to catch. So how many would go through it again? So keep that up there, Aaron. How many guys do you think they'll need to lose going forward? You think they'll probably need to lose at least 14 more before the start of the season? What's that number look like again?
No. So take the 78, subtract the 14 seniors, knowing that maybe a guy or 2 comes back, but that would get you to 64. Get rid of Xavier Worthy, A.D. Mitchell, and Byron Murphy. That gets you down to 61, which means you've got 24. Okay. I think Texas is going to want to bring in between 30 and 32. So I think they'll likely need 8 more names worth of attrition. And, it's not rocket science. I mean, there's some conversation that Isaiah Nayor, not yet a grad transfer, so he could be a guy who either stays in the program and competes for a spot and tries to come back and do it next year, or maybe leaves as a grad transfer at the end of the spring. We talked about that second window. You can honestly, you can go through every position and see names and just go from left to right at every position. And you can get to a name where you go, oh, that dude doesn't play. And I think when you say that dude doesn't play, there's a good chance that those would be among the candidates that might eventually become part of the attrition. I think we're probably going to start. I wouldn't be shocked if we're talking about they need to lose 8 names. They brought in that monster offensive line class in 2022. And look, some guys sink and other guys swim. Kelvin Banks is a swimmer. Cam Williams is going to be a swimmer. Cole Hudson and DJ Campbell have been swimmers. And we saw Connor Robertson actually do a pretty good job in replacement of Jake Majors for a little bit earlier in the season. But there are other guys that either going to have to be really patient or could fall into the category of, maybe they enter the portal and try to find a situation that in the immediate gets them on the field faster. But I think ultimately, in order for Texas to do everything that they want to do, I would say they need about 8 more names worth of attrition. And again, that sounds like a lot, but if it's 8 plus the 6 that they've already lost, so that would be 14. It's pretty in line with what they've lost on the average throughout most of the last 2 decades.
All right. Thank you, Aaron. I appreciate it. Catch, I don't want to keep you. I know you got more things to do. I know your show's coming up at noon. Are we going to have more Portal combat at noon today, Catch?
Oh, yeah, man. We're going to play the hits.
Are you going to? Well, here's the question, Catch. When we get to noon, will you name names?
Probably to some degree. Certainly, Matthew Golden from Houston entering the portal yesterday. He's a guy that Texas is going to have very definite interest in. Andrew Makuba, Jason Sukamel reported earlier this morning is set up 4 official visits, all for next week. He's just going to go on a barnstorming tour. Texas will be, I believe, the last of those visits. We'll name names. What I'll probably try to do today is put together as a makeshift portal class. But it's easier said than done because, again, I think some of the names that Texas might have an interest in haven't entered the portal yet. Some of that's also by design, Anwar. You pointed this out in a lot of reporting in the past, that sometimes these coaches don't want these guys to go into the portal right away. Think about it, if you were Texas and you're like, hey, Andrew Makuba, if you go into the portal, you can come here and we'll make it work out. And the next thing you know, he's visiting Oregon and Oklahoma. And you're like, whoa, wait a minute. Maybe we should have had you wait till the last day. And then, I think there will be more to come.
There's a super chat that came in real quick, Catch. Do you think that they bring in a vet linebacker or Bender returns? No way Blackwell plays inside linebacker in the SEC. Thoughts?
I don't know what's in David Bender's head. I know that they are targeting a couple of linebackers. And I don't mean that specifically. I mean, the hope is that they're able to go into the portal and get a couple of guys that can aid in that position. But I haven't heard anything definitive with David Benda. A month ago, you might have thought he wasn't a guy that you would even want to bring back. I think he's played his best football in the final few games of the season. We'll see. I don't know who this year's Tavondre Sweat is in terms of, maybe it's Jatavion Sanders, but I don't think that's them having to talk that guy in at this point as much as maybe he's not ready. But, man, Anwar, we might get through the playoff and Jatavion Sanders might say, I caught 20 passes in the last 3 games and I'm the number 2 tight end on the draft board. Maybe it is my time. So I don't know. I think some of this stuff is fluid and people don't want to hear that, but a lot can happen between now and say the second week of January.
100% correct. Catch. All right. Go be great. We'll see you back here at noon. Go fix
Sorry for the technical issues, but we survived.
Hey, Catch. We used to have technical issues with Spectrum all the time when you lived around the corner, man. Like you and I were like dueling banjos as relates to that. So, honestly, if this happens once every couple of months, as opposed to our hit rate before, we're actually doing way better.
Truer words have never been spoken. Have a good rest of the show, my man. I'll see you online.
All right, go be great. Geoff Ketchum, you guys can see him here, obviously, on noon, and from noon to 3. Obviously, you guys know who he is. House divided with him. And Chad Hastings, the Aggie, who seemingly is becoming a Longhorn fan. Love to see it. All right, let's do this. Let's do a break. We'll come back. We'll do some social media standouts. We'll got some more little news and nuggets that I want to make sure I get to you guys as well. So do not go anywhere, please. While we're in the break, though, just hit the like button just because you've been watching and hopefully you've been getting a lot of good information as well. All right, DJ Aaron, take us into commercial.
I'm assuming we get number 2 next, and I'm assuming obviously that would be Washington, unless they want to get kooky and go to the bottom and give us 6. But I'm assuming we get number 2. Oh, they're going to say it and then cut away to Harbaugh. They cut away to Jim Harbaugh watching, and now we see the clap reaction in Indianapolis. So we are really slow burning this one. Michigan's won. Jim Harbaugh is clapping and sending someone to all three of the prospective
Harbaugh had the
opponents.
signals before the announcement was ever made. Like,
Yes, he did.
knew.
Yeah, well
He
played.
hired someone to be in the room to buy a ticket to be in the
Yes.
ESPN production room.
The number 2 team we would assume is next. It is, and it's Washington. All right, there's no shock. 2 undefeateds, 2 that we knew if they're undefeated and they win, they get in. They're in. Michigan's in the 1-4 game. Washington is in the 2-3 game. DeBoer and his crew, well deserving, like Jason said, beat Oregon twice. Now this may be Texas next. This may be the moment, Texas fans, you've been waiting on, because number 3 would be next. Number 3 is next. If it's Texas, then all this hard work, this is why you lift those weights. This is why you do all that
and
shit.
Washington's not having a party, so we don't have to
cutting
do
away
the
the
cutaway
Washington.
shot.
Exactly. Could it be Texas? Could it be Texas at number 3? It's got to be the next thing they announce. This could be Texas. Or is it going to be Bama? Or is it going to be Florida State because they're undefeated and they're really weird and they're going to put them at 3? We'll see. Michigan won.
Put Georgia
Washington
5.
Texas is in. Texas
Yes!
is in. This just
Texas got
in.
3.
Texas is in. They are the 3 seed. Texas and Washington will have a rematch. It's probably, well, I don't know if it's going to be Rose Bowl or not. We'll have to, it may be Atlanta.
That's going to be a fun game. That
They're
should be
gonna
a
meet.
fun
They're
game.
in. They're about to show the reaction. They just went crazy. Phones are being utilized in Austin, Texas to video and take pictures. Things are being thrown. Anwar Richardson is probably being pushed and pulled. Steve Sarkisian is looking very excited. Texas is in. Congratulations, Longhorn fans. You put on the show you needed to put on. The Undertaker gave viewers a belt, and the committee couldn't say no to you.
Somebody had asked for the white hat. They wanted to know where it was. It's sitting right here, right next to me. Sheriff Richardson back in here. Snitch Rich in here in the house. Want to say hello to everybody. Make sure you have a safe weekend. I'll be out there on the roads. Guys, make sure you're safe. I actually don't like I don't dislike this look for some odd reason. I don't know what the hell it is here. Someone says I'm bidding on Anwar's cowboy hat. Actually, I tell you what, while Ketch was talking and we had the conversation about stuff, I actually bought a ticket on TickPick during his segment. I went in and got one. I was able to get a lower level ticket. Darn right. Not writing tickets, but I'm buying tickets. Big difference. License and registration, please. License and registration. Where y'all from? Y'all from around these parts? I don't think you're from here. But let me know who I am. All right, it's not too bad. I'll be honest with you. It's not too bad. Eric, can I wear this out tonight? Should I wear this out tonight? I should wear this out. I'm gonna wear this. I'm gonna go to HEB today. I'm gonna wear this and see what happens. I'm gonna see what the reaction is. All right, let me take it off because I can barely see when I have this on. It's a good joke, but nonetheless, I'm blind. Aaron said my Bourbon Street outfit. Now that, oh my God, I have some Bourbon Street stories from when I was younger. Not now as an older person, but as a younger person. I have to tell you guys one day how when I was young, about 18, how I almost got arrested on Bourbon Street. It was not my finest moment. Not my finest moment. But it was 18. It's the first time I actually ever started drinking, and it was bad. But one of these days, maybe another fun Friday as we get a little bit closer, I will actually be. I'll tell you guys that story. Yeah. That happened, and I'll tell you. I'll tell you. I've already told the one story with my oldest son's mom, how she did something to get a young person arrested for a decent exposure. We was up on one of those balconies, and throwing out beads, and the person was telling her like to lift up her shirt to show it, and she was like, "No, show me yours, and I'll show you mine." He's like, "No, show him." He's like, "No, show me yours, and show you mine." So dude decided to drop his thing, and then dropped his pants, and then pulled him back up, and then he went back to her, And before anything could happen, a cop just grabbed him and he got arrested. I was like, oh, poor guy. Because she was never going to show him anyway, right? At least I don't think so. I never asked. I don't think that was a part of the plan. And then all of a sudden, dude got arrested. So that, feel bad for that young poor. I just always hope that we weren't by a school zone, because if not, she had ruined his life. Nonetheless, let's do some social media standouts. Texas Mama said you can always fall back on acting. Texas Mama, can I tell you one of my bucket list things? I was just gonna tell you a bucket list thing. I want to be an extra in a movie. I don't necessarily want to. I don't know if I need to do acting or anything like that. I want to at least just be an extra. That's one of the things I want to accomplish. I just want to be an extra in a movie, just a person. I don't need a line. I just want to be a part of the crowd and walk by and then watch a movie and be like, oh my God, I was in that movie. Like that. I just want to be able to do that. Y'all make that happen. If y'all can make that happen, let me know. I'm gonna put a bucket list of things I want to accomplish when I turn 50. And Aaron, a few years ago, there was like they had a thread on Orange Bloods about people who were extras in movies, and there was so many people who actually just had been in one. And Longhorn said he's been in 2 movies. I just want to be in one. I just want to be in a set, see what happens. So to be a standout, Dave Chappelle is making a return to Netflix with a brand new stand-up special coming on New Year's Eve. The timing of that seems really crazy. I mean, New Year's Eve, I'm not quite sure if the timing is good on that one. Maybe the assumption is everyone will watch it the following day. I know we won't be watching it because most of us are going to be out in New Orleans doing our thing out there, and then I'll be recovering most of that day until the evening time. So what do you guys? I don't know. Ketch is not high on Chappelle anymore. Thinks he makes fun of too many people. Thinks he picks on people. It doesn't bother me. He's comedy. He's doing what is the comedy. So anyway, for those of you guys who are interested, Chappelle has got another special coming out, and we will see what philosophical thing that he does for his next thing, or mean, depending on how you view him. Next one, you know who I like? I like Lane Kiffin. I ain't gonna lie. I like Lane Kiffin. And he's trolling Texas A&M right now. And by the way, you gotta love it. You gotta love it if he is trolling A&M. And here's what he's got. He goes to Texas A&M. There's the jet that's sitting there. Now that jet, they should be taking recruiting visits. That's what that jet's for. Going to visit people, being in homes, everything like that. And Lane just takes the time to troll. And someone points it out. He said that Texas A&M jet should be sitting at home during peak portal season. Sad. Come on, A&M. Here's the thing. Here's why you'll get to enjoy Lane Kiffin when Texas goes in the SEC. Him and Sark are boys. That's their dude. You know, that's his boy. So he's not gonna mess with Sark. Because it ain't no fun until the rabbit got the gun, right? And so it's cool when someone's making fun of other folks, but when he's making fun of your program, you don't think it's as fun. The thing is, if he messes with Sark, it's going to be genuine. He's just having a good time, but it won't be this legit trolling. And Lane loves to troll A&M, and I am here for his pettiness. I am here for it. Keep it up, Lane. Love you, brother. Love you, brother. All right, let's do another one. He's really tall in person, by the way. I saw Aaron, I don't know what his height is, but I feel like he's like 6'4" or something like that. He's a tall dude. I stood next to him at I've seen him at Big 12 Media Days, and I saw him at the in Destin for the spring meetings. Tall dude. Aaron, what does it say he is? Does he say like about 6'4"? I feel like he's about 6'4"-ish or so, because I'm a legit 6'2". I feel like he's got some good height on him. As Aaron looks that up, this is what I thought. There was a really interesting stat here. By College Football Report, which is now becoming a website that I am relying on because they have some pretty good information. They won me over when they were the first to put something out there last week about FSU and their quarterback potentially not playing, and they literally were the first one that had something out there. So whoever these people are, and I don't know much about them, they kind of be on the P's and Q's. 6'3", Aaron says Lane's sister. I was right. I thought it was 6'4", so I'm just about correct with that one. Yeah, it's got some height on him. How much talks about how much the CFP playoff teams won their average games by their games on average. This is an interesting stat, Aaron. 27.2 for Michigan, 18.6 for Texas this season, 14.4, and Alabama at a 13.4 clip. So yeah, that I thought that one was really when we still look at how the CFP playoff teams won their games by an average of. Michigan ends up being the most dominant one, but Texas 18.6 points per game. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. Of course, Scott says that stat is meaningless unless you factor in strength of schedule. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure all those things, but we know Texas had a really strong schedule as well, right? So there is that. But anyway, I thought it was an interesting thing to throw out there. And by the way, shout out to you, Scott. That was that's an interesting one as well. And good morning to you, Harish, as well. And Rodolfo's in here, the Jay Witt fan himself. Now, this one is the most fascinating thing I saw circulating yesterday. It said Marvin Harrison Jr. has reportedly been offered NIL deals that will compete with what he would receive as a first-round pick. And so for reference, a top 5 pick, which Harrison would be, makes anywhere between 20 to 50 million in total cash as a rookie. He goes, but this doesn't include any endorsement money, which could push Harrison well over 30 million if he stayed in college football. Harrison has made no decision yet, but his decision could change the game forever. NIL is completely changing the game for the sport of football. I don't know if there's an NIL deal out there that there's a school or pure people that are willing to drop that much cash on a person. I think that sounds good in theory, but I want to know the donor who's saying, I mean, because that's a lot of money, y'all. That's a lot of money. I'm not sold on that. I've heard of NIL deals from people and teams and things like that. People ain't getting paid like that. That one's a hard one for me to believe that someone's going to come up with that much money for one guy. I find that I don't see that. You get guys who might make $1 million, might make a couple of mil, might make 3, but we're not talking about 20. Like, there's not a game changer like that. Now, if I think the person at some point that will absolutely get a nice deals will be Arch when there's all said and done. Like, I think Arch will be the person that's bringing it in, but no, 20 mil, I find that hard to believe. If there was a buy or sell, I'm selling, and I'm calling BS on that one. Let's do another one, Aaron. Let's do another one. All right, fellas, and ladies, by the way, I want to hear y'all's opinion on this one. Everybody who is in the chat, I need to hear y'all's opinion on this. Now, this career woman claims she is single because men can't seem to handle her tough questions when they first meet. Now, they claim she knows exactly what she wants. She says she is single because she asks questions like this. Call me Judge Jude, I'm strict as hell. So, fellas, you're out on a date. This is the line of questioning that she has. Because I have questions, and I think it's more important for men to understand this. I'm a woman with a plan, and I know where I'm headed, and I know who I am. Do you know who you are? Okay, that's going to be one question. With all the obstacles in life, how do you stay grounded as a man? She wants to know number 3, do you have a routine? Do you have a plan for your life? Because I'm intentional. If I'm going to be a part of your life, where are we headed? And if you can't answer these questions, then you have some more self-work to do. So, fellas, you're on a date, sitting down to you. Listen, I'm a woman with a plan, and I know where I'm headed. I know who I am. Do you know who you are? That's the first question she wants to know. Do you know who you are? With all the obstacles in life, how do you stay grounded as a man? This is our first date now. I just took you to the Cheesecake Factory. With all the obstacles in life, how do you stay grounded as a man? She wants to know, do you have a routine? She wants to know, do you have a plan for your life? By the way, fellas, you're paying for this date, for this inquisition. Do you, hey, if I'm going to be a part of life, where are we headed? This dude, I know, fellas, you got some smart answers to that. Ladies, are you asking these things? Catherine, are you asking this on the first date? Fellas, are you sitting there through this? Fellas, are you sitting there through this? This is what she's grilling you with. This is what she's grilling you with. And this is what she says, look, I'm single because ain't no man. What she's saying is no man can handle me. No man can handle me. I mean, what she's not saying is where she is in life, right? Because that what I hadn't heard is, what are you doing in your life? Like, this is our first date. We try to get to know, like, hey, like, get to know each other, our likes and dislikes. But she wants to know how you stay grounded as a man. Dudes are saying they would have got up and walked out. Dudes are saying they would have got up and walked out. Have you guys ever had a bad date like this, though? This sounds, I mean, I've took a woman home after she was rude to a server, and I was like not a part of it. And I was like, "Are you gonna be rude to servers?" Like, I was fine. I mean, okay, so first and foremost, aren't we just going out for drinks on our first date anyway? Are we just doing something casual? Like, are we even doing dinner? Like, I'm not doing dinner. I don't know you like that. Like, we work towards dinner. Let's just see if we like each other. I'm not gonna be stuck somewhere for about an hour or more. We're gonna do a couple of drinks. If all goes well, then we'll go get something else to eat. She's a little too. I think there's a reason why she's single, and none of them have to do with anything that she's saying. Aaron, I had a bad date. This is years ago. We got to the restaurant, right? And we get there. I picked her up. We get there, and she goes, the lady had said, "Hey, we need to be." She goes, "Thank you. I had a 7:00 reservation," and she said, "Hey, we need to get clean off the tables. And we need to get everything set. And so, you give us like 5 minutes, and we'll have everything ready for you. Is that going to be okay?" This was a long time ago. I was in my 20s, and she just said, "No, that is not okay." Said, "You see all these tables here? You need to find us one. But I refuse to sit here and wait. I refuse for you to have us sitting out here. We have a 7:00 reservation. We need to be there. Go find us a table now." And I saw that poor little girl's face turn. And I was like, "Are you serious right now?" So we sat down. I'm like stunned. And we sat down. And I was like, you didn't have to talk to her like that. That was kind of rude. That was kind of messed up. And she said, well, she goes, "That's just the way I talk. And if you don't like it, that's your problem. We don't have to do this." I said, "You know what? Let's just not do this." And I said, she's like, "Excuse me?" I was like, "Nah, we ain't doing this. I ain't doing this. We're rolling." And then we got back up, and I drove her back home, and that was it. That was absolutely it. Rodolfo, of course, no, she was not white. She's one of my sisters. And that was it. Anyway, so that happened. I've had some other interesting first day stories. All right, let's do another one. I'll do another one. Oh, you guys want to laugh? You guys want some some more Texas some tears? Some Texas tears? I'll give you this one. Here you go. The University of Excuses by UT Mangler found this out and then posted on the Texags message board. It goes, the undeniable favoritism put SIP in the playoffs over Georgia and FSU, who were both clearly more deserving. Even most of you diehard SIP apologists can realize that. Well, it took a lot of politically driven mental gymnastics for the committee to pull it off, but they managed, of course. But don't expect this to be the last of it. They're likely already writing the script for next Thanksgiving as we speak. And you better believe it includes a controversial call in their favor. Oh, Bill Superman. Oh, poor guy, Bill Superman. Oh, you're so upset, Bill Superman. He's like, oh, they're working in behalf of them. Well, how about somebody work on behalf of y'all? How about y'all get good and get into this conversation? What y'all got screwed over too, right? They in Houston, right? Oh, you guys. Joy Houston, baby. Lots of good places. Short drive for you. Aaron, let's do a couple more. Yes, this is what we already talked about. We talked about this earlier, but for those of you who have missed it, we did kind of a segment, Aaron and I did a segment about 2 hours ago on this thing about people receiving their denial letter from Texas. Kelly said it, received our denial letter from Texas. Unfortunately, due to the limited supply of tickets for the Longhorn Foundation members, we are unable to fulfill your request for tickets. We have never been denied tickets. And she says that to Del Conte. Fancy Boots, very popular follow, obviously, on Twitter. And she put out there, I haven't missed a single Texas football game since 2012. I'm in the top 10% of donors in loyalty points rather. Because I've given a lot to my school, even when they don't have a lot to give. I believe this is something that got cut off. And for the first time ever, my ticket app was denied. Heartbroken. Not sure what I'm going to do. Well, Fancy Boots, if you listen to the show, we already figured out what to do. We figured out what website to go to. We all went on TickPick. Some people, South End Zone Queen bought her tickets. I bought a ticket. Got a lower level one. Actually, yeah, Aaron, I got a lower level one. I got a section. I'm going to tell you what the section was, Aaron. And I get in section 155 for about $655. So not bad at all. 150, yeah, $675. I bought it while Ketch was talking. So got a low level, $675. Man, I don't see a ticket on here. I mean, I click it. I don't see it like a legit ticket. I don't know how this thing works. Do you know, do they send you like the actual ticket to your phone like later or something?
A lot of websites they'll send you an email like later on. I don't know. I've never used TickPick, but I mean, that seems like a lot better deal if there were actually no fees. So I don't know. But yeah, you usually get it later on.
It says your order has been confirmed by the seller and is now 100% guaranteed. TickPick. Your tickets are expected to be ready for delivery by Sunday, December 31st.
Okay, there you go.
I mean, it's Sunday. December 31st. So yes, I'll get the ticket delivered, but it's 100% guaranteed. Okay, that was wondering because I keep going on here. Yes, section 155. There were no. So right now, TickPick seems to be legit as far as avoiding the fees, the $300 fees. And I've gone in there. And in South Enzo says you have to create an account with the Sugar Bowl and TickPick. Okay. Thank you, South Enzo Queen. Appreciate you. Look at how helpful she is. Very helpful. Yeah, TickPick is that. Hey, y'all made us into believers today. Y'all got a bunch of free advertising, but we also saved some Longhorn fans about $300 in fees or more. So to hell with you, Ticketmaster. That's what you're gonna do. We'll just go ahead and TickPick it for the rest of the time. That'll be good as well. Thank you, Aaron. And thank you, South End Zone Queen. She said, go make an account with the Sugar Bowl. And then what do you do? Just connect the accounts, South End Zone Queen? Like, how does that work? I think she probably told me. All right, let's do a couple more social media standouts. But fast. I'm in this with y'all. I am in this with y'all. Someone asked me the other day if I'm a fan. I guess if I'm buying people tickets to go to see Texas games, and I'm bringing with me to New Orleans to go see Texas game. I guess I'm morphing into one. I don't know. Mike Thurs says mask gonna be like $675 for football tickets. You better not talk smack about my overseas soccer camps, boy. You're not lying at all. All right. Very last one. College football report once again. How will Hey, I want to ask you guys this. This is something I thought was really cool. I want you guys to think about it. Think about the schedule for next year. You don't know what's coming back, right? So let's just go in here. But how do you guys think Texas does in the SEC? First of all, I don't think is that 12 games, Aaron. Let me count this up. Is that all? Let me see. Is that 11? I feel like there's something. Look, count that out. This goes 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, okay, they're missing ULM. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, I was looking at it. Look, as my mind has looked weird, I was like, something's missing from this. What do you guys think? First year in the SEC. It's a hell of a question. Okay, so ULM is missing. So this add that win. Colorado State at Michigan, UTSA, of course, Georgia at Arkansas, at Texas A&M, Oklahoma, obviously neutral site, Florida at home, Kentucky at home, Mississippi State at home, Vanderbilt at home. Mike Torres, look at you guys already bullish. Look at you. I see 11-1. I see 10-2. Look, I love it. I am not going to doubt anybody. I see Cotton says 9-3. Ooh, Cotton. Ooh, you're not going to be a fan favorite. You do that. Yeah, this is tough. This is tough. This is why, honestly, this is why you want Quinn Ewers back. This is why you tell yourself having Quinn back is going to be a good thing. You want Quinn. You say, hey, Quinn, you don't need to go pro. Come on back. We need you for something like that. That's a tough gauntlet of games. At least at Arkansas is a weird place to play. Shadow Bearded says 10-2 with Ewers, 9-3 with QB2. Okay, so QB2. Are you talking which Malik or Arch? Which I would lean towards it being Arch more than likely. South Enzo Queen said 10-2 is the ceiling with 8-4 as the floor. Yeah, there's a lot of tough ones that are out here. A lot of tough ones out of there. Yeah, it just I know that's next year. We got a long time before we get there. But I saw that. It made me think of you guys, and I just wanted to throw that to you as well. Aaron, let's do. I want to do maybe talk two more things before I get out of here. Okay. It kind of I got interrupted a lot because Ketch was having the bad connection. I want to just make sure for those who have been asking the question about Derek Williams, I was told will be serving his first half suspension against Washington. There will be no carryover to next year or anything to that effect. It goes to your very next game, whether that's the postseason or not. Very next game is the playoff game. So first half there. So I want to make sure I have that. The second thing I want to make sure you guys fully understand, and again, I kind of went back and forth a little bit, is that transfer portal window, the deadline is January the 2nd in order for players to put their name into the transfer portal window. But because Texas is in the playoffs, those guys get an extra 5 days after their last playoff game. So you get an extra 5 days if the last game is on January 1st, extra 5 games, which none of us are anticipating that, or extra 5 days to enter their name in the portal after the January 8th, which will be the national championship game. The thing I've been told and kind of communicated with is that there are a contingent of people, I don't know the numbers, but there are players who are thinking about going into the portal, really just want to get the ring. They want to be able to say they were a part of it, and they're not really in a hurry to leave right now. So there are players who are considering hanging around. And just so we understand, so to kind of give you an idea of everything. So the Sugar Bowl is on the 1st, right? National championship game is on the 8th. Here's the key one, though. The first day of classes for UT is January 16th. First day of classes. So that's a really, really tight window. If you're saying like national championship game, then I just jump in the portal with classes starting like the following week. That's tough, to be honest with you. I think for me, one of the key dates that you guys got to keep in mind as we get closer to as portal season goes is going to be the 16th of January. That's the key date for me, because guys, I got to get started. And so just keep those in mind. Add 5 to the 1st, add 5 to January 8th, but also know, hell, the kids playing in a national championship game on the 8th. I mean, you can jump in the portal on the 9th, I guess, in theory. I mean, classes start in a week. Are you going to do that? Or does it make better sense at that moment to just go through the spring? Most of the spots are already filled up. Just go through the spring and then jump into the portal, whether it's in the spring or in the summer. Might be the smarter move. It's just something to keep into it. And by the way, I was just told 5 days, not necessarily business days. I was just told 5 days, period. The days, it just says an additional 5-day transfer window following the contest. For student athletes on teams that compete in the postseason, for example, college football playoffs, FCS championship, bowl games, there will be an additional 5-day transfer window following that contest. Okay, so just want to make sure you guys have that as well. There's also there's a lot of little things. The other little thing is that we're still waiting on Quinn Ewers to kind of officially announce what he is going to do. It doesn't seem to be a rush on that decision. I think that from what I can tell is everyone feels like, they can recruit well, with or without the decision. I also think there's some politics that are being played there as well. So we'll see what happens with that kind of gymnastics thing. But, what the thought process was a couple of weeks ago that he may make an announcement this week. Checked in on that stuff yesterday. And it's like, no real rush on that one. So Sark and company seem to be okay. They seem to be focused on their current plan, current things that they have going on, and I think they're okay with. I think they're feeling themselves. To be quite honest with you, I think they're feeling good. I think they're feeling good one way or the other. Right, Aaron, that's it. I think we covered a lot. Sorry, I'll give it to you one more time. Give it to y'all one more time, and then we'll head on out. Appreciate y'all checking out the show today. Appreciate everything. Appreciate all the love. Appreciate Ketch coming in. Appreciate you guys always in the chat. I want you guys to have a happy weekend, but a safe weekend. Don't do anything too crazy. Sheriff Richardson's going to be out. I'll be looking for you. Make sure that you don't give me a reason to get you in trouble, because really you're going to be getting yourself in trouble. Like the video. Subscribe to the channel if you have not done that. And until we see each other on Monday, remember what I always said, live each day like it was your last, because one day it will be. Y'all take care. Have a safe weekend.